Hello and welcome back to a brand new episode of the Pick a Side podcast. My name is Joe Moran and I'm here with River Brown, Andrew Velez, and Joe Dehls. And this is now episode 348. In this episode, we're going to recap the AFC and NFC Championship games, rank the top 10 players heading into the Super Bowl, and more. The Monday after the AFC and NFC Championship game. There's a lot to talk about, fellas. How you guys doing?
I'm doing all right. I'm doing especially great because look at this damn merch we got on. I mean, guys, damn. That black hoodie's some exclusive shit. I think that's one of one. This one right here, this is also one of one. This guy, just don't look at these two shirts, all right? Those aren't the ones being sold. However, look at the main attraction over on this side of the table. Look at this beautiful
volume low, mic low, check, mic low. Volume low, check.
Never fails. Okay, now Drew, go to the soundboard right there, and you see where it's green. You see that little lever? Push it to the right. Go to the right more. Keep going. How does it sound now? All right, you can stop there, Drew. Let's see how it sounds right now. How does our volume sound now? Does it sound good? Give us a thumbs up if it sounds good. Man, I feel like the setup is always the same, yet our volume always sounds low for some odd reason.
Tell these guys to raise the volume on their setup, man.
Is it an us problem? That's the thing.
Good. Somebody said we good.
I just said good.
Verified Elijah said we're good.
Pico better.
Low,
perfect.
Julian
good.
says
We're
low.
Good, we're good.
We got some perfects. We got some good.
Behind. But like Drew was saying, look at these hoodies, man.
You look at the main attraction on this side of the table. Look at that beautiful charcoal hoodie right to the right of me. And then you see it in the back behind my brother Joel Moran. Look at the cream.
Making me wanna
talk about it. Nah, he's spitting.
You know,
He's
that cream color.
Goodness gracious. February 3rd, baby. We promised. We're living up to our word. February 3rd. This is when finally the merch drops and you guys can get your hands on it. Mr. Dehls, if I'm not mistaken, you had the brilliant idea of making this a little exclusive to the Patreon, where if you are a member of the Patreon, you get access to the Discord. You get access to the link an hour before we drop to the public.
Yes,
now,
sir.
I said it. Knowing the way that those guys in the Patreon and the Discord act, there's a chance that this link might not get out to the public. So do yourselves a favor. Get up in that Patreon. It's only $1 a month right now. Give yourself an opportunity to get an early access link to the merch, February 3rd.
Chop it up with us, in the
Facts.
Discord, talking
Saw you in there for the first time.
Riv, I've been in there.
Mm-hmm.
He's been active?
I've been active.
Wow, that's
My
beautiful.
issue was I didn't have the notifications on Discord. Just always screwed up. Like I would never get the right notifications. It said notifications were on. They weren't on, so I always forget about it. Notifications are on. I'm in there every day. Riv's in there every day. These guys show their face,
I'm there. I'll be in the VC.
Mm-hmm.
I'm definitely in there the least.
Riv most definitely number one by far.
By far.
It's not even a question.
Yeah.
I'm going to put myself at number 2. You're at 3.
I have an insane amount of time at work.
He's
so I'm
over me.
Lately, you're thinking about it.
Lately, Dell's been cooking. I'll be
Really?
honest. Lately, Dell's
That's
been
when
cooking.
I haven't been in there these last couple days.
Dell's been cooking. You're more VC moded, but Dell's was in there one night
I was in
on a random
yeah.
VC. He just came in, chopped it up for a bit.
So
Said
before
some
we
AO
start,
stuff, but
make sure you guys like the stream. Make sure you guys are subscribing to the YouTube channel and turn on post notifications so you know each time we post a segment. If you miss something from the show, you can easily watch it. Now, I want to get a vote on these two beautiful hoodies because we have 30 of each. We have 60 total. Which one do you guys like the most? Do you guys like the cream color? We have Drew modeling it here. Or do you like the charcoal color that Dehls is modeling to the left of me? Both fellas are to the left of me. I'm not going to lie. For me, at first I was going charcoal, but I'm looking at how the Pick a Side logo looks on the cream. I'm kind of liking the cream color a little bit more.
These hoodies can't always look as good on y'all as it looks on me. I'm just going to let you know that first and foremost. That being said, if I'm not going to say so myself, this hoodie, it's a thing of beauty right here.
Santos wants you to wear his hoodie.
Tell him you can have this one right here. This is yours, Santos, right off my back.
And it's worn on the show.
You're getting a 1-on-1.
Man, I'm excited. I'm excited for this merch drop. I feel like we've been working at it for a while now.
We have.
Drew and I have driven back and forth to Union City twice.
Oh, it's in Union City.
That's where the print shop is at. We put the boxes in the warehouse, and then we just went to go pick them up today. That's why we got the hoodies. So we're planning on dropping these pretty soon. This first drop is 60 hoodies because we're not sure how much of you guys are going to show out to the drop. Because sometimes you guys say you guys are going to get a hoodie, then you don't buy the hoodie when it drops. So we got 60 just to be safe. If we see that these are going fast, then next time it'll be 100 hoodies we're selling. Next time we'll do even more than that. We just want to test the waters first and see, how much of you guys really buy it. I think we did a pretty good job. The hoodies are high quality. Jess was telling me that she feels like the hoodies have that kind of Carhartt jacket material.
Okay.
For sure.
Where like it's the kind of like a rougher material.
You call it like streetwear, I think, the first got it. Yeah.
Yeah, on the inside it's soft, but on the outside
It's
you
thick.
could definitely feel it's thick.
Yeah.
And it's a little bit hard on the outside, but I definitely think it's good quality. If you live in a cold environment, it's definitely going to keep you warm. If you live somewhere that's more warm, like LA, Florida, on those cold nights, you could probably wear it out. But I think it's definitely, it looks fly, and, next drop will be even better. So hopefully you guys show out for that. February 3rd, 1 p.m., 12 p.m., that's the early drop for Patreon and Discord members, just to let you guys know. Before we get on to the show, the only reason we're able to be this productive all the time
Talk about it.
is Magic Mind.
Love
Magic
those guys.
Mind is a sponsor of the show, and Magic Mind sells this beautiful drink that's kind of like an energy shot, and it has a bunch of natural ingredients in it. For me, I use it as a coffee replacement because I don't like drinking coffee, and I've been feeling more productive as of late, and I know Drew has a similar experience using Magic Mind as well.
The one thing I always say is I like to feel sharp. There's nothing makes me feel more sharp than Magic Mind. I tell you what, I drink coffee, and I'm grateful to Magic Mind because now I'm starting to wean off it a little bit more. I still have my caffeine addiction. That's going to be normal, but Magic Mind, slowly but surely, is helping me ease away from that addiction. So credit to Magic Mind, no doubt about it. Nothing like feeling sharp, feeling like you're in the moment, ready to do whatever you have, trying to put your mind to. Credit to Magic Mind, no doubt.
You get 1 month free when you're subscribing for 3 months at www.magicmind.com/JAN Pickaside. And with our code Pickaside20, you get an extra 20% off, which gets you 75% off. This only lasts until the end of January. We're nearing that, so hurry up before it goes away. We're getting questions in the chat how much the hoodies are going to cost. They're going to cost $59.99.
Okay.
Because per hoodie, these are high quality hoodies. It takes us a lot to get them and then to print them and then all the other extra costs like printing the labels and stuff because we're doing all that in-house. All the stuff that we would have a third-party service do, we're doing it
X in the middleman. We're the middleman.
Yes, we are sending these directly to you. So just know, it's made with Pickaside love. Pickaside love and love. Oh, yes. But yeah, it's made with Pickaside love. So hopefully you guys enjoy it. It's $59.99.
Sounded like how your
What?
mom normally sounds.
Yeah, I do.
That's what it just reminded me of. I love that woman.
Oh, man. The only
said-
person that gets that baby voice out of me is Jess.
I'm
Yeah.
dead. I've heard that voice more than once.
More than once is right.
You mentioned the last day of January. That's going to be Wednesday, January 31st. It's your boy's 9-year anniversary.
9 years.
9 years.
Almost 10, man.
What you got planned?
We're going to the Chart House. It's a nice spot near
like
us.
Chart
I think it's in Weehawken, if I'm not
Yeah,
mistaken.
it is.
Yeah, that place goes. She got a gift certificate there. It's like $200. So,
Say less.
AKA free.
Say less.
Free.
you
Yeah, I'm
getting her?
excited
What
for
you getting
that. So for Christmas, I'm not gonna front like this gift that I got her for Christmas wasn't this or anniversary combined. I got her a Gamo bag.
Calm.
Yeah.
She
Yeah,
want
no.
one?
So I
Good
said,
stuff.
Did she
it's
w-
just one of those.
Okay.
It's like
Like something she asked for, you're like, I'm
yeah.
better.
She didn't
Kinda
ask.
splurge.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
But I did tell her straight up. I said, yeah, this is gonna cover a few. So hold on to this.
You getting a hotel for Wednesday night?
No.
It's crib
Just
vibes.
exactly.
Pounds, town.
essentially.
All right. Make sure you get a couple
9
of
years.
drinks.
Shit, I better be.
You better go
getting some
9 hours.
Yeah, no way.
Oh, you
Gotta
gotta take a
just
couple perks.
Some.
I
okay.
think 9 anniversary is a perk night. In my opinion.
Yeah.
Just the
I told myself I never do some shit like that unless I was having a threesome.
Okay. Well, you could do
God bless this show. She'll never listen to this.
You could do
My dad's listening.
the
though. Shut
other
up,
ones.
Pops.
I forgot what it's called. Not the perks.
The Blue Chew?
Like the one you get at the gas station?
Nah,
No,
the
ain't
shots.
nobody taking a fucking rhino.
You could have
bro.
did a Blue Chew. You could take the shots. I forgot what it's called. My cousin told me about it.
I told myself I couldn't take no Viagra.
Nah, no Viagra.
Good looks.
That's for like old people.
That's what I'm saying. And it could fuck up your heart.
Can. I mean, it's one night, man. 9 hours.
Yeah,
One pill
9
will kill
hours.
you,
No
probably.
way. She's gonna have work the next morning.
That's why you need to take her out of it.
She's gonna have to call off after that. That's how crazy I'm gonna have to go.
Yeah, you gotta go. You gotta go
Noted.
in there, like eat ass, all that. 9 hours in there.
Those
Shout out
days
to you,
might
though.
be behind me. Yo, good
Imagine
looks,
this is
though.
the first episode
Holy
someone's watching.
moly, your mom's in the.
I
chat.
bet she is. I bet she is. Shout out, mom.
apologies.
Shocked.
She's always in the chat.
She's
Riff.
always, literally,
I
always.
just I got respect, so
It's all right.
my fault.
That was crazy, Riff.
Here we go.
I'm still in shock
Why?
by him saying perk.
No,
It's not an actual perk.
He's
but, you know,
joking.
No,
He's
it's not a
joking.
perk, but we call it
Uh-huh.
a perk. It's like Blue Chew, something like
Uh-huh.
that, like a little pill. You never had one?
No, I stay away from that stuff, man.
You taking a sex pill before, bro?
Yes.
She got active?
Yeah, I took one.
Did you almost die?
No. It was So me and Zari had a night one night.
Calling her out's crazy,
Name
but okay.
dropping's insane.
She'll never watch
Name
this.
Oh
dropping
my
insane.
God.
But we had one night we went out and I was like, I gotta do it tonight. I gotta put in damage tonight. So I took we was drinking, so I had that going on for me. And then before we got in the Uber, I took 3. Straight.
Jesus
Yeah, 3.
Christ!
I went no kid 3-4 hours. Domination. just domination.
I'm going to be really transparent. 3 hours. Does that sound enjoyable?
It sounds like it's
It goes by like this. It literally goes by really fast. You don't know it. So it's kind of like you're just going. Then you stop and you look at the time like, damn,
3
fuck.
hours, bro.
3 hours sounds like
You
your
gotta
meat's
take
probably about to
breaks in
fucking
between.
fall off.
Of course, you take the break, but in totality, it's 3 to 4 hours. You know, you take breaks and little 5-10 minute breaks. Of course.
I'll tell you something. I commend you for your stamina. I'm one and done. I'm like a college
Brother,
freshman.
You thought that was my stamina? That was the perk. that wasn't me. That was very not me, bro. That wasn't me, bro.
Crazy.
Joel's spitting. This 9-hour bullshit, there's no way in hell.
Nah, yeah. Just when you with your female, and it's one night, you gotta, show
That's like
out.
the one luxury.
You gotta show up.
Having a girlfriend. That's it. You just get your rocks off quick. You're fucking keeping it pushing.
I mean, that's good for me.
Especially 9 years. You get yours.
Oh yeah. At that point, a woman
Hands
doesn't
off.
care.
If you guys didn't realize by now, this is a Patreon exclusive episode on Pick a Side. Now, it's funny transitioning from this going to talking about
Prospects.
NFL.
Oh, okay.
We'll talk about
We gotta wait.
prospects.
Prospects gotta wait a couple hours after that combo.
We'll talk about prospects in a bit. But listen up. He did it again.
He did do it again.
He did it again. At this point, what I said back in 2019 when I tweeted Mahomes is the best quarterback I've ever seen play. I don't care about the accolades. It feels like year by year, that statement is becoming even more true. This is the worst Chiefs team that we thought Mahomes had ever had.
Worst offense, at least, yeah.
Worst offense for sure. And they go to the Super Bowl. We now have a full season sample size of Mahomes in the playoffs. 14-3 record. 106 passer rating, better than in the regular season. 67.4 completion percentage, better than his regular season numbers. 39 touchdowns to 7 interceptions. Better touchdown interception ratio in the playoffs than in the regular season. He's tied for third most playoff wins all time at 28 years old. His first 6 seasons as a starter, he has more wins than Brady, more playoff wins, one more AFC title. He could tie him in Super Bowls depending on how the Super Bowl goes this year. More touchdowns, less interceptions, better passer rating. And the one chink in his armor that they were trying to say this year was that he can't win on the road. 2-0 on the road in playoff games now. 3-0 as the underdog because in 3 of the last 4 matchups, he's been the underdog to the Eagles, to the Bills, to the Ravens. He's the
Are you counting the Eagles as a road game?
No, I'm saying as an underdog.
Okay,
underdog.
okay.
He's the all-time leader in passing yards, passer rating, completion percentage, and touchdown interception ratio in the playoffs. And this is the Chiefs' 4th Super Bowl appearance in 5 years. This team has went from lovable, Mahomes is the next big thing,
I was early on
to-
this wave.
the entire world hates on the Chiefs. The Taylor Swift angle of it has given more juice to the hatred of the Chiefs because they don't want Taylor Swift to
Sad
be a
thing
part
is,
of
I
a
like Taylor a
winning
lot.
Super Bowl
Just too
team.
forced.
I love her, though.
And the most impressive thing is that this was the hardest path to a Super Bowl title based on DVOA in NFL history. The 2023 Chiefs faced opponents that had a combined 31.6 DVOA. That's 3 more than the 2007 Giants, who played the 9-8 Bucks, the 13-3 Cowboys, the 14-4 Packers, the 18-1 Patriots. What we're seeing from the Chiefs do right now, they're knocking down great football teams. I mean, the Dolphins, second-ranked offense, their defense was on that game. The offense put up some points. You then beat Josh Allen and the Bills. You then beat one of the best regular season teams I've seen ever in the Ravens. Let me just get that straight. They were a dominant regular season team. If you saw the Ravens' point differential against winning teams versus what the Chiefs had this year, it wasn't even close. Every single stat would have pointed to the Ravens winning the Super Bowl this year. The Chiefs knocked them out, and now they have the 49ers left. We know what Mahomes is, but I feel like in dynasties, what always gets underappreciated are the defenses. With Tom Brady and Belichick, all people look at now is Tom Brady, but people don't give Belichick his respect for what he meant to the dynasty and how many wins he got with that elite level defense. The same thing is happening to the Chiefs right now in their defense. Steve Spagnuolo is one of the best defensive coordinators ever. They held the Dolphins' second-ranked offense to 7 points and scoreless in the second half. They held the Bills' offense to 7 points in the second half, 0 in the fourth quarter. They held the Ravens' fourth-ranked offense with the reigning two-time MVP to 10 points, had 3 takeaways, 4 sacks, 5 passes defended, 3 for 11 on third down. And they make timely plays. L'Jarius Sneed knocking that ball out of Zay Flowers' arms before he gets into the end zone, making that a fumble and a touchback. Chris Jones, what he's meant, Trent McDuffie, Justin Reed, and how he's able to be a force in the run game. This defense has allowed 4 points in the second half in the last 8 games. This is the youngest defense in the NFL. The only team this year to score over 25 on them was led by one of the greatest quarterbacks in the game currently, Jordan Love, in the Green Bay Packers. Scored more than 25 on them. Only team, by the way. This team is like that. It's not just Mahomes, Reed, and Kelsey. I know everybody points to them, but this defense deserves more respect. And if they win a championship this year, it's going to be because of that defense and how much they've leaned on them to be great and to be the star of this show.
I'll ask you two gentlemen, do you guys want me to talk? Because I can get really bitter.
Yeah, sure.
Is that what y'all want?
Go for it.
Y'all cool with that?
I also want to get better.
I'll say this first and foremost, and in the moment, Joel, I don't think we gave him the respect and love that he deserved. Shout out to Joe Burrow. Shout out to Joe Burrow for being the only guy to fucking go out there and slay that beast of current quarterbacks or active quarterbacks. Most definitely shout out to the GOAT, the true GOAT, Tom Brady, for being able to beat Patrick Mahomes not once
Joe
but twice.
Burrow's defense,
Doing it
man.
for that defense generational. Luana shout out to him, deserves a
Lamar's
monument.
defense held the Chiefs to 0 points in the second half.
And most definitely,
Cooking.
I look at that Ravens defense and I give them an A. Only reason I don't give them an A+.
They finally stepped the fuck up.
One play. I just needed one more play. They would have gotten an A+. But shout out to Joe Burrow. Shout out to Tom Brady. Again, the true GOAT. Not beaten him not once, but twice in the AFC Championship and in the Super Bowl. All jokes aside, this guy Patrick Mahomes is nuts. He's nuts. The first half, he came out guns blazing. Second half, definitely kind of went into cruise control, and really credit to the Baltimore Ravens defense. They played an unbelievable second half. 0 points allowed in the second half. I can't look at the Ravens defense and think, hey, 17 points going up against the Kansas City Chiefs. You take that 10 times out of 10, especially with the way that your offense has been playing. But credit to the defense, like you mentioned, Joel. I don't want to reiterate too much about it, but one touchdown to 2 of the best offenses in football in the Miami Dolphins and the Baltimore Ravens. Lamar Jackson is going to win his second MVP, and you allowed him to 1 touchdown and 3 points in the second half. Spags 1,000% drew up a flawless game plan, and the lack of adjustments on the Ravens side of the ball, that was the game right there, unfortunately. Where even still, where the Chiefs' defense was as great as it was, or I should say, the Baltimore Ravens defense was as great as it was, that Chiefs defense was just always that one play ahead. Getting that strip sack on Lamar Jackson, which didn't end up in points. That drive did not end up in points the following play. Then you go, shout out to L'Jarius Sneed, who kind of got lost in that play to Zay Flowers, where Zay Flowers ends up getting the flag for taunting, which I'll say personally already, I'm cool with it. young kid making the biggest play of his career up until that point in time. The AFC Championship game, your team's behind. You're trying to get momentum back. I understand moving with a little bit of swagger. It's unfortunate that that refs are soft and it's the no fun league. So he was going to get a penalty. You go back, but 2 plays in a row they go to Zay. He gets the one right before the third quarter, and then the first play of the fourth, where credit to L'Jarius. He goes out there, makes a punch right at the goal line, right before he extends. Absolutely shout out to L'Jarius Sneed, who, Joel, you've been singing his praises all season long. Big players make big-time plays when the time is called for them to do so. Absolutely. And then Lamar Jackson throwing that interception that I think that was his big mistake. The lone mistake that I really look at just is bigger than the rest of them, unfortunately. That interception in triple coverage where you and I spoke about, he said he's trying to draw a flag there. To me, you can't do that. You got to try and put points up on the board. But anything that the Ravens threw at the Kansas City Chiefs had an answer for. This defense is awesome. Going up against the Niners, we're going to watch a fun game, especially with the way that offense has been kind of up and down so far in this playoff. First half to second half, it's night and day. But the Chiefs are going to chief, unfortunately. I'm glad that everyone's joining the bandwagon of everyone versus them. Just know who was here on this side originally. But absolutely, we gotta start to cherish Joe Burrow a little bit more for being the only guy to save us from the terror.
We gotta start to cherish what Mahomes is doing.
No way.
What he's
you got
doing.
him to root for
is
Joe
special.
Burrow before Patrick Mahomes.
Listen,
You gotta take that W.
I never was anti Joe Burrow.
No, but it was always but Joe Burrow got X, Y, and Z to go his way.
That's what I'm saying. But sometimes you need to reflect.
I was right there with you. Don't get
you know
me
what I
wrong.
mean? That's
right
what I'm
there
saying,
with
bro. We should have reflected on that time and thought, man, someone did it.
Yeah.
This guy Joe Burrow actually was able to slay the beast. It was brilliant. And honestly, now thinking back on it, we should have appreciated it more. Because now this fucker's going to his fourth Super Bowl in 5 years.
Well, we was always here, and I was the one that told y'all. Well, for Joe Burrow,
I was definitely
always here.
You were always there.
And I always told y'all that, every team that has gone far in the playoffs relies on their defense. Mahomes said it post-game. He said, I knew that all I needed to do was not turn the ball over and be safe, and our defense was going to win us the game. Sometimes you rely on your defense. Mahomes made some magical plays, even in this low-scoring matchup. But there are instances where you have to play game manager. There are instances where you have to just keep the lead and count on your defense, and that's what Patrick Mahomes did. That's why I don't get all the Joe Burrow stuff when people were saying he was carried by his defense and his field goal kicker when he put his kicker to get those points, and he was putting up points on the board or at least putting the offense in position to score points, drive in and drive out. So that's why I never understood that. And now we see Lamar Jackson losing, and Lamar Jackson is losing with elite defenses.
Correct.
Not every quarterback always wins when they got elite level defenses.
Come on, Lamar.
I don't know if you want to let one fly real quick before we got into it.
The Kamal Lamar,
Yeah.
I love it. I love that.
I let that shit fly yesterday.
My trademark is being reciprocated. Everything is being said now. I have a question for you guys, and this is quick. I just want to get your gauge on it because, of course, now the conversation with Mahomes is Mahomes or Brady. I think he's put himself in that conversation where he's the second best ever. Like let's just be clear.
Let's stop, okay?
I think the Peyton Manning
5
conversations
MVPs.
end really soon.
Really?
I think for everybody, it's already Mahomes and Brady. That's it. Peyton Manning, I'm
Recency
sorry,
bias, whatever.
he's just number 3.
5 MVPs.
He's like the
most
Kareem
ever.
of the group. Peyton Manning is where we're just really discussing Jordan and LeBron.
So respect Kareem.
What's the
Respect
question?
Kareem. The question is, do you think that Mahomes doesn't have a chance to be the GOAT just because Tom Brady beat him twice in the playoffs?
I did think that originally. I remember we had this debate. I think my
Have a
first year,
backbone, would you?
year on the show when Brady beat him, I was saying that's it. No matter what Mahomes does, he can't be better than Tom Brady. But it's hard to look at what this guy's doing every single year. AFC Championship game. Are you serious? First year starting until now, you got 4 Super Bowl appearances. You have 2 rings, possibly a third. What did you break?
That can stack.
Is that your
We're
phone?
good. It's nothing equipment-wise.
He's
my
won
phone.
82% of his games in the playoffs, most for any quarterback who has at least 15 starts. And you mentioned his post-game press conference how he just said, "I don't have to have any turnovers." Through 3 games, he has 0 turnover-worthy plays. He has taken 2 sacks so far this postseason. There's no negative plays with this offense, and with the way this defense is playing, that's all you really need. I compared this game to like a world-class boxer, a champion boxer who got a couple knockdowns in the first couple rounds. You're like, we're just going to coast for the next 10 rounds. That's what it felt like. Even when the Ravens it was a 10-point game, it never really felt like there was any consistency on offense. There was no consistency for the Baltimore Ravens offense. It was always, I mean, we're going to get into the Ravens offense, so I'll save that for then. But what Patrick Mahomes has done to start his career, it's unprecedented. And it's a rare time where stats, winning, and eye test all come together, where he has record-breaking numbers. He's the most winning quarterback in NFL history through his 6 seasons, and the eye test is the most impressive quarterback I've ever seen in my life. For me, he's the best quarterback of all time. Will he reach the 7 rings of Tom Brady? We'll find out. But in terms of a talent, in terms of limiting mistakes, in terms of understanding what needs to be done out of him game in and game out, this dude's special, man. And it's a shame that back-to-back years he had to get rid of Hurts, then he got rid of Lamar. I feel your pain, Drew.
I needed
understand
more
what you're
hateful
going through.
energy out of you, man.
What can I say? I mean, I can't blame Mahomes for this. Like, the game against Hurts, I could blame Mahomes. He went out there and was fucking perfect. I have to blame Lamar for this game. He went out there and laid it down.
Lamar.
The whole offense was terrible. We're going to get into that. But I can't blame Mahomes for this. He put up 17 points. The Ravens did what they had to do. But this guy's a freak, man.
You know, I think the question you asked is different. Greatest of all time and best of all time is 2 different things. Same thing it is in basketball, same thing it is in football. The best of all time is, you know, like you mentioned, talent, you know, but the greatest of all time is
To be honest, he's both.
everything put together. And what Tom Brady did not in just one era, but did in multiple eras, you know, building 2 different dynasties. Even the middle part where he didn't win a ring, you know, they had an damn near undefeated season in the middle of those dynasties. But he had like 3 different eras, you know, even at 40 plus years old, he was winning rings, still being great. Like, this man was dominant. Like, his longevity and his winning is different. So Mahomes, to be the greatest, I think, you know, head-to-heads are great. You know, I think because Tom Brady, you know, beat him, that's another nod he has. But for Mahomes, it's just about what can you do in the 18 to 20 plus years. Can you know, reach Tom Brady heights? If you can be the greatest of all time. You know, I think he's on a great trajectory. You know, I think he can do it, you know, especially if he continues on the streak. But, you know, Bill Belichick and Tom Brady was together for damn near their whole careers. And Tom Brady left and won a ring with a different team. You know, that also weighs into, you know, what he's done. So will Mahomes, you know, what is he going to look like post Andy Reid? You know, is he going to leave the team and do the same thing that Brady did? Is he going to stay and win with a different coach, a different defense, you know? But I think right now, like, you know, we don't have to put him as the GOAT because I think Brady has earned that. Like, that spot as the GOAT. I think he's cemented himself as the GOAT. His career is done, and he's put himself in elite company by himself. But I think Mahomes is number 2. You know, I think Mahomes is on that trajectory to get to number 1. I think we could wait a little longer to put him in that conversation.
What's he need to do? Does he need to get the 7 rings, or is it just
at least get the 5? You know, I think 5 or 6. You know, like Brady got 7, and he did it in different eras, of course, against Mahomes. But he did it with he did it with a good defense, with a great defense. You know, like, he's done it in so many different ways. It's hard to just say, oh, Mahomes has to do a little less. I think he has to do either close to what Brady did or a little bit more to cement that legacy. But, you know, to talk about the Ravens and what Lamar did out there.
we got a Ravens segment.
Okay,
next.
so just because I got
this is just a Mahomes Glaze section.
Oh, okay, because I feel like this conversation is gonna get funny. It's gonna turn into hate in 30 minutes later with a certain guy. But of course, we got to glaze Mahomes and do what we do. But yeah, Mahomes is, you know,
he's the best. He's one of the best ever.
Yeah, number 2 greatest.
Respect.
You know, he did his great thing. You know, fourth Super Bowl run. That shit is all cool. Shout out to Mahomes. That's all I got. That's all I really got to say.
Give me 1 run.
You know,
That's
I was
in the league 6 years. Been a fan for 26
Next
years,
topic.
and I don't got 1.
I thought back to this one moment where after the 2018 AFC Championship game, when the Chiefs barely lost to the Patriots, it was off a D-Ford offsides. After the Patriots won, I don't know if you guys remember this, but Tom Brady visited Mahomes in the locker room. And nobody knows what was said between the two, but I'm pretty sure, based off the way Mahomes played in that game, Tom Brady knew he was going to be one of them ones in this era.
He almost threw for 303.
Yeah, one of them ones in this era, and Patrick Mahomes recalls that moment saying that it proves that I was doing things the right way. I was going about the game the right way. And Tom Brady saw what he was going to be very early, and then he just matured. The way I was talking to you guys last week when I was previewing this game about how Mahomes has matured as a quarterback, And even the incremental improvements that he makes in this game often go unnoticed. First season starting, he throws for 50 touchdowns. He's never hit 50 again since then. But it's not because he's not as good. It's because he's changed his game. Defenses have played him so much differently now that he has to pepper the short and intermediate parts of the field. Against Baltimore, he was 26 of 28 on passes under 10 air yards. He was checking down almost every single pass attempt. He was 9 of 13 for 100 yards on third downs, 7 third downs on 9 completions that he had on third down. Mahomes has matured as a quarterback, and we haven't seen this type of progression this early from somebody this young in a very long time. The reason why I think that Mahomes is still very much in discussion to be number one is because I look at the era that Tom Brady played in. Who did Tom Brady hold back from winning a Super Bowl? Peyton Manning eventually won one. Ben Roethlisberger won one. In the NFC, Aaron Rodgers and Drew Brees, they won one. The only great quarterback in the AFC you can say that Brady stopped from winning was Phillip Rivers with the Chargers. Mahomes is stopping Josh Allen from winning. He's stopping Lamar Jackson from winning.
Still a lot of time left.
There's still a lot of time left. I'm just saying,
Brady's
as of
Brady's
today.
also beat all of them a hefty amount of times.
What's Tom Brady's record against Peyton Manning in an AFC Championship game?
1-3.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought he had a winning record.
Lost in 06, lost in 12, lost in 15.
Which one of those did Payton get backpacked on?
15.
Okay. Yeah.
No, but not against the Patriots.
Okay.
He threw 2 touchdowns against the Patriots.
So I look at what Mahomes is doing now. He's stopping all-time great quarterbacks in our era from winning Super Bowls.
Football is different. You can't say that. I don't think you could say he's stopping guys. I think, especially like based off this.
Well, he's outplaying them.
He also had
But
24 years in the league.
Yeah, he did.
I think like especially off this run, I don't think you could defend it. Like I think this defense is elite, and those are the ones that are really stopped. Like, I don't know. It's different.
Joel, I don't love that statement personally, and
He
I
outplayed
understand.
Lamar,
I
though.
understand your statement. I understand where you're coming from. In 6 years, this is a Jordan-esque domination run for sure. He has lost
Jordan
multiple
never lost.
times. Jordan never lost, yes. But comparing football to basketball, this is as close as it's going to get. The next closest would be that second stint with the Patriots, as in their second dynasty run where they went to the championship, what, was it 5 years? Were able to come away with 4 extra more championships. It's what they did, or 3 extra championships. I apologize because they have 6, and he was able to win a 7th over there with Tampa Bay. But they still went. They lost to the Giants twice. They lost to the Eagles, which was pretty
They went
brutal.
Super Bowl, lost conference,
Thank you.
Super Bowl, lost Super Bowl, won Super Bowl, lost wild card.
And that lost wild card because they refused to give him weapons, even though they had
And they
just
lost
come off
to
with W.
Nick Foles masterclass. Never forget
And that Nick Foles and that defense.
And Tom Brady was
which-
OD in that.
That was Brady's
he
last year.
has the record. No, that wasn't his last
That
year.
wasn't
When
last
he
year.
lost in the wild card?
They went to the
Oh, no,
I'm
it
saying
was the wild
last
card,
year
yeah.
with-
wild card.
with
Yeah.
New England.
I was gonna say, but against Foles, he has the record for most yards
No, he
in the
was
Super
OD.
Bowl
He
game
was
with
OD.
505.
He was nuts.
I think very
He was old
easily
as shit too.
the stretch that we've seen from Mahomes is the best 6-year stretch from a quarterback we've ever seen, though.
I agree.
Like what we're in right now, it's the best ever. And
Because he has the MVPs too, which
Yes.
is something that no other quarterback has done.
who knows if Mahomes is going to play as long as Brady? But then that kind of is similar to the LeBron and Jordan argument, where LeBron didn't play. I mean, Michael Jordan didn't play as long as LeBron, but he accomplished
That's different.
much more.
That's different because Brady has the longevity and he's accomplished more than everybody in NFL history.
Like Mahomes just doesn't have the years yet.
Yeah.
But I mean, he's on track. To
Brady, the winning, yes, and like the raw numbers, yes, but
Super Bowls too.
in terms of efficiency, no. Mahomes is the most efficient regular and postseason quarterback of all time.
Yeah.
By every single metric.
And then one thing even I have to give acknowledgement and respect to is that he elevated this season in the playoffs. When the biggest question all season was, hey, your defense is playing at this elite level. The opportunities that you've had when the defense has given you another opportunity, you just need that one drive. It seems we've seen Patrick Mahomes fall a little short in some instances this season. In the postseason, he's been near perfect.
Everyone talks about flipping the switch, and it's very easy to talk about flipping a switch, but that's what we see Mahomes doing this year. Like we were talking, I think it was going into Buffalo's game. Against playoff teams, they were averaging 19 points per game in the regular season. And this run, sure, they scored 17 against the Ravens, but they scored over 20 against the Dolphins. They scored over 20 against the Bills. That switch was
26
flipped.
and 27.
And this is Mahomes deserves all the credit in the world, but it's organizationally, like what Brett Veach is doing, drafting guys like Creed Humphrey and Trey Smith in the middle,
McDuffie.
day 2, day 3, McDuffie in round 1, Rashee Rice. Signed Joe Tooney, who missed this game. It didn't even seem like they missed him. He didn't take any sacks.
One sack.
Yeah,
I was irate.
And in a funny way, Spags has been so bad, or was so bad as a head coach in previous years, that nobody wants to hire him again. So he just gets to sit here and be like, I'm just going to be the best defensive coordinator of all time, if not one of, and they get to keep their defensive coordinator. We're going to talk about the Lions later, who are going to lose their top offensive coordinator. Like, that's not an issue the Chiefs are going to have. They have Andy Reid to figure out the offense. They have Spags to figure out the defense. Until those guys retire, they're going to be in place.
I feel like Mahomes is getting into the territory where people are just going to start nitpicking whatever he does if he wins.
They already started that.
They have started that.
Me included.
Now, this playoff run has been game manager-esque, which is totally fine. I mean, that's the way the Chiefs have to win. They don't have the talent offensively to really go punch for punch with teams that have that type of talent on offense. Brady in his early years was game manager. Like, that's what he was. So I think the difference with Mahomes is that Mahomes kind of went from the gunslinger quarterback that was just throwing all over you to now being heavily reliant on his defense and picking his poison, picking his spots, making plays in crucial moments of the game. And that's what Brady was for a long time. And really, with Tom Brady, it took a very long time for him to shake off the game manager system quarterback label, even until his final year in New England. He didn't get his true respect for what he did in New England until he went to Tampa Bay and won without Belichick.
I think that 2007 run kind of cemented his stance of being one of the best in the game.
When he's going undefeated.
50 touchdowns in a season. You go undefeated. You finally get that X-level weapon. Respect to Troy Brown, of course, he was great. But you get that next tier up in Randy Moss, and you have a record-setting season. I feel like that was the year that it started to shift the narrative on Brady as in, hey, this guy is actually an elite thrower, an elite processor, everything you can look at in his game outside of obviously being a mobile quarterback. He is the best of the best at. I feel like that 2007 season was finally that year where he kind of broke out of that mold, because you look in those later runs in that Super Bowl versus the Seahawks. Yeah, the Patriots defense was great, but he had to make some fucking plays, and he most definitely did. The game versus the Falcons, he most definitely was more than just a game manager in that one. When you're down 28-3, you have to be more than a game manager to come back in a situation like that. I think the closest he got back to being that quarterback that he was in that first 3 Super Bowls was versus the Rams when they only scored 9 points. But even still, he had one of the biggest plays of the game throwing to Gronkowski to ice it. So I feel like he broke that relatively early into his career. But yeah, I understand what you mean by that, though.
Yeah, I just don't think he got his true respect until he went to Tampa Bay, because it was always a debate, who matters more within the Patriots construct. And many people pointed to Belichick for a long time, and then Brady did what he did in Tampa. And now we see Belichick can't get a job, and nobody wants to give him full control of a roster.
To me, I felt like that conversation was a little bit null and void when Brady throws for 505 against Philadelphia, and the Patriots defense couldn't stop a nosebleed. To me, that's when I felt like, hey, you're defensive-minded, that belief in Belichick being the main reason why they're this winning organization. To me, you kind of lose it there. But, hey, again, Belichick kind of got his back with that Rams Super Bowl where he put on a defensive masterclass. So it is a little bit of a give and take in that situation.
Kill Moves goes, I need Kelsey to retire after this season. I'm tired of them cutting to Taylor Swift every time he scores. They act like she scored the damn touchdown.
Taylor Swift, I think people have to understand that there are very few individuals as big as Taylor Swift in the world right now.
I think there was a tweet that said she's brought in an estimated
$331
million of revenue for the NFL.
I just don't think we care that much.
I don't really like show Taylor Swift, don't show Taylor Swift. It doesn't really bother me.
It doesn't bother me either.
She's a megastar. She's one of the biggest celebrities ever.
It's like plus 200 for Kelsey
engagement. I saw that. That's where
I got a question about this Taylor Swift thing, because everybody's making a big deal out of the NFL camera crew cutting to Taylor Swift. It's not that much during the game. I counted. It was like 6 times at most in a 3-hour showing. It's not that much. Do you think that people would be this angry about it if it was Drake or if it was LeBron?
I think on a lesser scale, what comes to mind was in 2009 when A-Rod was on this tear. Just home run after home run, big hit after big hit. He was with Kate Hudson at the time. They kept panning over to Kate Hudson anytime A-Rod would do something big because Kate Hudson back in the day was a pretty big figure. Now imagine it times 100 with Taylor Swift. I think that people probably wouldn't care, even though they do show Drake a ton. But I think
Raptors games,
yeah, for
do.
sure, they
He's
do.
also courtside.
He
and
is.
Swift is,
Yeah.
up in the
I think
box.
I don't know because LeBron is so big in the sports world, they wouldn't care that much. Like it's LeBron.
But that's what I'm saying is like, why do you care so much if it's Taylor Swift?
Mm-hmm.
If you wouldn't care, like, let's just compare music star to music star. I don't think anybody would have a problem if they were showing Drake after every cutaway. If he was rooting for a Chiefs player or if he was rooting for a fan, they cut him after all. Whenever we watch Raptors games in the playoffs, that's all they cut to.
Mm-hmm.
It was made out of content for a lot of companies, and people were fine with it.
Mm-hmm.
They were indulging in the Drake being on the sidelines.
When
Look at
Drake,
this,
When
look at
Drake went to
this. This
Kentucky,
didn't exist
people
before
were
us.
kind of shitting on him when he did that weird shit when he
Where he's in the
lining
locker
up
room?
with
Nah, that was
Kentucky. Yeah, people did
hilarious.
fake violence.
Not on the
That
team,
meme,
bro.
that
That's where it
meme
started.
That
Yeah.
meme of him in like the film
Kentucky
or whatever.
Blue shit.
He was doing a little too much.
And I feel
but-
like Drake
legend
was
for that.
Drake was actively a part of the Raptors organization,
Mm-hmm.
and like Riff said, he would talk to the players. He would have close relationships.
Like he's Canada. He's Toronto.
Yeah.
Like he's the face of that country, basically.
Facts. I don't feel like Taylor Swift is forcefully trying to put herself on the NFL.
No.
She's just doing her, and they're just cutting to her.
Yes.
Facts.
She doesn't even want the attention. So the blowback on this, to me, I have found odd, and it doesn't make much sense. And the only explanation I can have for it is I just feel like they're mad that they're cutting to a woman. I'm not gonna lie, because if this was a man megastar, the backlash for this wouldn't be the same.
I don't disagree.
I don't disagree at all.
It's been great, honestly. Think about all. I'm just thinking. You see all the time on Twitter of people of fathers who have their daughters there say, "I want to watch the Chiefs game because Taylor Swift's there." You're bringing new fans to the NFL.
You think it's a woman or is just because it's the Chiefs? Like you think if he was dating,
So many things go with it. It's a Chiefs.
like if
It's
he
a
was
woman.
dating Odell Beckham Jr., you think we'd really be upset, or you think it's just?
I think it's a little bit of. I think the Chiefs definitely
has
have a
something to do
part
with
to
it.
do
I
with
think
it.
it's probably just because it's the Chiefs.
Mhm.
Honestly,
That's a good point.
Yeah, I think the Chiefs definitely have a part in it.
And
You know,
I
it's
think
like
it's also
somebody
'cause-
rooting for the Patriots.
And
you know?
people also have like this preconceived notion of Taylor Swift being quote unquote corny, even though she's just
I don't know
watching a
I
game
don't know a thing
supporting.
about her.
Yeah, that's what it is. People think that Taylor Swift is like this cringy person, but I mean, all she is there is watching a game supporting her man. I mean, what else is there other than that?
Now I apologize, Dehls, that the Ravens had to go out in the fashion that they went out in. So I'll let you get the floor and talk about this first.
Dehls, let me also say this: there were allegations on your name yesterday.
My name?
They were saying you were ducking yesterday.
Oh, it was a Joel Marin show. It wasn't pick a side.
I did invite you though.
You did. I said respectfully no.
That shit had me crying.
I said respectfully no.
Now, Mr. Dehls, was Lamar Jackson disappointing in the AFC Championship game?
Absolutely. Lamar was disappointing. The whole team outside, I should say the whole offense was disappointing. Todd Monken, from top to bottom, this was an ass whooping. You don't always see a one touchdown game and think ass whooping, but this 17-10 game to me felt like an ass whooping.
I'm with you.
You know, it started from the beginning where the Chiefs go first drive, second drive, down the field, touchdown, and we're sitting here thinking, oh shit, because the Ravens scored a touchdown between two. We're thinking this is go back and forth all game long. And the Ravens even got their touchdown kind of on a broken play from Lamar. It was a beautiful throw to Zay Flowers, but it felt like once the Chiefs went touchdown to start the game, the Ravens kind of held their breath.
Yeah.
And they got tight. And they're like, we got the big boy Chiefs on the other side. We got Mahomes on the other side. And instead of treating him as an equal, it almost felt like they were treating the Chiefs and Mahomes like
he's fucking
this
God.
god
Yeah.
that we have to catch up to. That every single play has to be a big chunk play.
Yeah.
Every play they have to get 20 yards or else it's a failure. In the first half, they ran the ball to running backs 4 times. I don't know how you see that game against the Bills last week, Chiefs versus Bills, where Buffalo runs for nearly 200 yards. Don't get me wrong, Josh Allen got a decent portion of that. James Cook was getting his
Hell
too.
yeah.
I'm not sure how you could go into this game, and the game plan is to pass the ball. Because the game plan, it was obvious from snap one, it is to pass the ball. Coming into this game, by far and away, the biggest weakness for the Baltimore Ravens, it's been their biggest weakness all season long, but really hasn't come up just because how dominant they've been. It's been the wide receiver room. All season long, their biggest weakness and really only weakness has been the wide receiver room. And what's the biggest strength of the Chiefs outside Mahomes? It's their DBs. It's Trent McDuffie. It's Snead. It's Justin Reed. It's all these dudes who have been playing at a all-pro level for majority of the season and seem to be only elevating in the postseason. And for whatever reason, Todd Monken decided, our average wide receivers, we're going to beat you against your elite DBs. It wouldn't have been my game plan. It shouldn't have been the game plan, but that was the game plan the Ravens ended up going with, and that's why the score was what the score was. Like I mentioned when we were talking about the Chiefs, it was, 17-7 at one point, right? For the majority of the game, 17-7. They kicked the field goal in the fourth quarter. At no point did I feel like the Ravens were going to come back and win, especially after the Zay Flowers fumble. It felt like that was just the last chance they really had to gain some sort of momentum where they hit the big play down the field to Zay. He gets the taunting penalty. You're like, you finally do something right. Then you do something wrong. You get a nice catch to Zay. He makes something happen after the catch, and Snead makes a potentially game-saving, season-saving play at the 1 yard line. It goes into the end zone, and it's a touchback. It's a really hard pill to swallow for Baltimore because this felt like the year. We were talking about this coming into the playoffs where if there was any season the Baltimore Ravens were going to go to the Super Bowl, it was this year. In your own division, you have Joe Burrow go down. He was not himself really all season long outside of a month, but he doesn't play a majority of the season. You have a lot of kids in here. You have CJ Stroud who play in the second round, who's a rookie who's phenomenal, but he's a rookie in the playoffs going up against a top defense. And then you have the Chiefs, who offensively, it's the weakest we've seen the Chiefs in the Patrick Mahomes era. This felt like the legitimate, not only shot, but the best chance the Ravens had to go to the Super Bowl, and it was right in front of him. The defense gave them opportunity after opportunity after opportunity. They held Mahomes to 0 points, really for 3 quarters, right? The second quarter, they scored that the 9-minute drive, and they got the field goal at the end of the first half. But really for 3 quarters, this team absolutely shut down the Chiefs. And we were praising Todd Monken and Lamar Jackson for that Texans game, saying how well they adjusted in the second half. And they just couldn't do it in this game. You mentioned it coming into this game, which was a great point, how Spags disguises his blitzes a hell of a lot better than DeMeco Ryans does, and that was apparent. All game long, the Ravens were never comfortable. Lamar Jackson was never comfortable in the pocket. It never felt like they really knew where the pressure was coming from. He always felt just a little bit under panic, just a little bit stressed in the pocket, and was never comfortable. And then you have the two just backbreaking mistakes of the fumble in the first quarter and then the interception to triple coverage. And that was the game stealer where that was the end of it. But those 2 mistakes. And on the other side, the defense played their ass off. The only chance the Ravens had this game was Patrick Mahomes making a mistake, and Patrick Mahomes wasn't going to make a mistake. He's shown that throughout his career. Playoff time, he's just not going to have a back-breaking mistake that's going to end the game or potentially put the game in jeopardy for the Chiefs. So as a Lamar, truther, it sucks because this felt like all the progress he made from his rookie year to MVP to the second MVP to he's so much better now than he has been in the past, and now he gets the opportunity to really put himself into a class not of his own, but kind of sneaking into the top 10 quarterbacks of all time conversations with 2 MVPs, a potential Super Bowl. He's going to have all the records for rushing, and he couldn't do it. And he looked outmatched and outclassed. Lamar deserves blame, but it was entirely the Chiefs' defense overwhelming the Ravens' offense.
Now, I say this because, as you guys know, Lamar Jackson isn't one of my favorite players, but I respect Lamar Jackson. I believe they lost this game before it even started. The play calling, the play design, the game plan, where you drop back 82% of plays, you only run the ball 16 total times. To me, how is that humanly possible when outside of the defense being the main reason why you ended up beating the Houston Texans, the number 2 reason was because you ran the ball 42 times and you dominated the ground? How is it possible? Like Joe mentioned, you watched that game versus the Bills, and when we were talking, Riv, what did we say? Look at the way that the Bills just ran on the Chiefs. You're talking about a better rush offense. Nobody runs the ball more than the Baltimore Ravens going up against the Kansas City Chiefs. How do we know the game plan? We're just 4 guys that talk about sports, and then you go out there and you run 16 times? You have to know your quarterback. This isn't an indictment on Lamar Jackson's arm. He made some pretty nice throws yesterday. That throw to Zay Flowers, That was a beautiful play out of structure where he just makes magic happen, and he's able to score a touchdown. The other throw to Zay Flowers, where, of course, he ends up getting the taunting play, but that's a solid ball that Zay just has to go and make something else happen.
I don't want to cut you off, but it sucks that Zay Flowers had that moment because he was the only one who showed up.
He was the only player outside of Lamar Jackson that actually was exciting. And there's no slack on Mark Andrews, because I think Mark Andrews coming back from injury, you should have had some certain expectations for him. Isaiah Likely, who's been awesome, I think that he had a couple moments where he's the one that I look at. There was a couple calls that should have been called on not on him, but of course on the defenders, the holding late in game, the one where he did throw it into triple coverage. So I understand it wasn't a good decision, but I do think that he was interfered with before the ball even got there. I think that was just a bad decision by Lamar Jackson. So I'm going to say Isaiah Likely was also, I'm going to leave him out of this too, because Isaiah's been playing relatively great for the last few weeks with Mark Andrews being out. But there were moments where I would have liked Lamar Jackson to show me why you're a superstar. I know that he did have some plays here and there, but understand when you're sitting in that pocket, the play that he fumbled on early on in the game, where, of course, the Chiefs didn't end up scoring that next drive because defense was able to hold on fourth, he sat in that pocket for 5 seconds. 5 seconds in the NFL is a long-ass time. You're Lamar Jackson. I understand you're trying to let plays develop. That's one of my few knocks on Lamar in this game. You held on to the ball too long. You're Lamar Jackson. Take off. You have an attribute no other player has in the league. You are fast, you're strong, you're shifty, and you play the quarterback position. There's nobody that has that skill set. You had to utilize that against the Kansas City Chiefs. I think that's why I'm pretty critical on Lamar today. But the defense, I mean, what can you say? I feel like I'm not blaming Lamar because you look at the game plan by the Chiefs defense, and I find myself giving them a ton of praise. They executed a beautiful game plan, and I just look at the lack of adjustments made by coaching by the Ravens and think, I'm not blaming Lamar because I feel like he left it all out there. Yeah, he made some mistakes, and yes, he's going to get some heat. You're the quarterback. You're one of the faces of the league. You made some mistakes too, but I say that where I'm consistent. If a quarterback is also having a relatively shaky game, but I don't agree with the game plan, I'm gonna make sure that I emphasize your game plan was not good. You have one of the best rush offenses in the league. Can argue it's number one, and you failed to utilize it. It's irresponsible.
I think that's ridiculous. I think you got to put blame on Lamar. I think you can.
Oh, he definitely deserves.
I think you can walk in and say the game plan wasn't good. I think you can walk in and say the offense wasn't prepared. I think at the same time, you got to understand you're probably going to win your second MVP. And the fact that you are going to win your second MVP, I understand game plan is very important in the NFL. But like you mentioned, there was a multiple times where he held the ball too long in the pocket. There was multiple times where he could have made plays with his legs, which he is, like you mentioned, probably the best in NFL history at making plays with your legs. He could have done it. He didn't. There was moments in that game where, he let a couple balls get over him. Also, that the running back core was pretty weak. They got a couple guys that were injured. Gus Edwards was good, but outside of that, Zay Flowers did come to play. But outside Odell Beckham, outside of them 2-3 catches he had back to back, didn't see him much. Aguilar had a drop. Mark Andrews, that was his first game back, so I'm not going to really give him too much slack. He hasn't played in a minute. The fact that he was able to play in that game was impressive enough. That offense, man, it lacked any juice. It looked like it was figured out in the first quarter. There was no energy to it. They had a couple cool plays. Like Dehls mentioned, Zay Flowers was balling. Like I don't care about that penalty where he got taunted. I feel like if you're in the playoffs, you should taunt. I really believe that. Let him taunt.
Yeah,
this shit
Burrow
makes
said that too. He said, let him taunt.
Yeah, let him taunt. This shit, and the play was fire. He had every right to do what he had to do. Go get it back, and Snead got it right back in blood. So what's the issue? And I feel like a couple discipline plays, that they had. You had the Clowney. I forgot what the call is.
Roughing the pass.
Roughing the pass. Like it was a lot of lack of discipline plays, a lot of bonehead decisions that this Ravens team made that looked like they were just inexperienced. They wasn't ready for the moment. And you hate that for a team that pretty much dominated the league this year. I think defensively, the first quarter didn't start off great, but quarters 2 to 4, they were pretty great. They had timely stops. They played good. They did everything they needed to do, but that offense, which is primarily the play caller and the quarterback, who is the MVP, you got to put some blame on him. And I feel like Lamar could have played better. I feel like we watched him, make plays with his legs all year. We watched him be a great pocket passer. And in this game, he just felt timid. He felt nervous to a degree, which, he doesn't have the greatest track record in the playoffs, but you would think he talked about this moment. This was probably the biggest moment of his career. This was the biggest game since the Ray Lewis days with the Baltimore Ravens. This is a home game in the AFC Championship game against the Chiefs. A moment where, like we mentioned, Joe Burrow was the only guy who was able to get past the torch. Allen had an opportunity before to beat the Chiefs. Defense failed him. Allen had an opportunity last week to beat the Chiefs. Defense failed him. Burrow beat him. Lamar had an opportunity.
Failed Josh Allen?
I mean, no, a lot. Defense hit him the first time. Offensively, they failed the second time. But even then, the defense got gashed. So low-key did. Your defense came to play, and your offense could not step up to the plate. Even the Chiefs' offense, whether Patrick Mahomes game managed or not, he didn't turn over the ball once. He played a fine game. He made big plays when he needed to. Same with Kelsey. Kelsey was on one early in the game. Rasheed Rice had a couple good catches. MVS was big late in the game. They had timely plays when you needed to, and the Ravens offense just didn't show up.
It's hard to play hypotheticals with this game, but the Chiefs scored on the first two drives.
Yep.
I think after they scored on the first two drives, Mahomes went into kind of neutral mode and wasn't big play hunting. I think if the Ravens were scoring on offense and the Chiefs had to match them point by point, they would have scored more. I think they were definitely playing safe and with the lead for a majority of the game. Credit the Ravens defense, though. They played phenomenal. I do want to say, though, Roquan Smith got his ass kicked.
He did.
And it was personal. And that's why I say he should never ran his mouth about Mahomes.
He didn't.
He should have never ran his mouth.
The comments called you out on that. They said you were lying.
No, Kyle Van Noy, they called me out. That shit was a great Photoshop. That shit caught the fuck out of me. But Roquan Smith, he said that Mahomes, he puts his pants on like anybody else.
I don't got a problem with that.
Mahomes puts his pants on differently. That's a different type of that's a different type of man. Misery. That's a different type of man right there.
Bro made up a narrative.
I'm angry. He made up some bulletin board material for Mahomes.
The offensive line definitely took it personal. If you saw the way they were finishing plays on Roquan Smith, they definitely took it personal. To this point, 2 weeks ago when we talked about Lamar Jackson being a two-time MVP and maybe winning the Super Bowl, because this was the Ravens' best team. This was the best group of pass catchers. This was the best defense. This was the year. Talking about if he wins a Super Bowl, he puts himself into elite company. Well, now that he lost, he's the most underachieving two-time MVP in NFL history as of right now. When you look at the MVPs that have won two MVPs or more,
I'll just say thank God, because Peyton Manning was facing similar allegations early in his career.
Right now, it's Steve Young, Kurt Warner, Joe Montana, Mahomes. Then players that have won 3 MVPs or more: Johnny Unitas, Brett Favre, Jim Brown, Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, Peyton Manning. Lamar Jackson has entered this list, and he has not won a Super Bowl yet. And there have been 2 instances where he's been favored and lost. In 2019 against the Titans went in and they beat their ass. And Lamar Jackson did not play a good game. And then against the Chiefs, they are favored to the point that it felt like people were just ruling out the Chiefs, that they had no chance to win this game.
Yep.
And Lamar Jackson didn't play well. He's now 2-4 in the playoffs. The 2 wins Lamar Jackson has in the playoffs, his defense has allowed 13 points and 10 points. The games that he's lost, his defense has allowed 23 points, 28 points, 17 points, and then 17 against the Chiefs, the game that we just saw. These losses that he's had, the defense has not been Swiss cheese outside of the one against Tennessee. Mm-hmm. His defense has showed up. And Lamar Jackson, to this point, has 9 total touchdowns in the playoffs, 7 turnovers, has a passer rating of 70, and is completing less than 60% of his passes. To this point, Lamar Jackson has not performed in the playoffs. The Texans game was nice. And this is why I don't trust teams that are dominant all year and that haven't been battle tested. Because the Ravens have been cruising by against better playoff teams, and we can credit them for that. But when they get in a game that's sloppy, that's a dogfight, it doesn't feel like they're as prepared as the other team. Todd Monken, the game plan was not great at all. They have ran the ball on average 31 times a game. This game, it was 16 total times. So half of that, and 8 of them came from Lamar Jackson, not on designed runs, but more so on scrambles. I think this loss by Lamar Jackson and the Ravens should make us appreciate other quarterbacks that much more that actually win in the playoffs, even when they have narratives on their name about being carried. I don't know. Joe Burrow comes to my mind. And, you know, the Ravens.
Gotta start appreciating
the Ravens,
that, man.
This was their year. Because next year, Joe Burrow's coming back. He said the return of the Jedi. And they're going to make some noise.
Joe Burrow and Lamar season, please, at the same time.
And Aaron Rodgers.
So we can see this actual division battle. We're kind of ignoring that, but, you know.
Let me ask you, who was better against the Chiefs? Lamar Jackson this year or Joe Burrow last year?
Joe Burrow.
I'll go Joe Burrow.
Joe Burrow.
I'm gonna be honest. I don't misremember that game.
Lamar
Joe Burrow
wasn't
was not
good.
good.
Every single offensive lineman for Joe Burrow was out. He was playing with backups.
Aren't his starters kind of backups? Anyways?
His starters suck too, but he was playing with guys that are worse than that.
Yo, that's one thing I'm also gonna say against Lamar. The offensive line did not play that bad. It wasn't great.
It was all right.
It was not.
It was manageable.
Horrible.
It was manageable.
Again, on that fumble where people are saying Ronnie Stanley got cooked. Watch it back.
I didn't think Ronnie Stanley had a good game at all.
He didn't have He should have ran. He had 5 seconds holding on to the ball. Take off.
I think with Lamar Jackson, I still think he's a great elite quarterback in the NFL. There's no doubt about that.
Regular season merchant.
At this point, you can point to the numbers and say, you know, possibly. I still think he's a great player in the playoffs. This is the thing with the Ravens. They just ran into a genius on the defensive side of the ball. Steve Spagnuolo was confusing the hell out of their offense. It worried me coming into this matchup how they would handle pressure because in the first half, they looked like a junior varsity offense against DeMeco Ryans, and DeMeco Ryans was doing nothing to disguise his pressure. If you saw 5 or more at the line, they were sending heat, and they made it known. So in the second half, it was relatively easy to call out those looks because they knew what was coming. They knew what to prepare for. With Spags, he was toying with the Ravens. There were times when he was showing pressure, and it happened in the sequence of this game where 3 times in a row, Spags showed pressure and dropped back into cover 2. 3 straight times. So each time you're thinking you're seeing pressure, you have to adjust protections. Oh my God, there's so many secondaries. There's so many defenders in the back end that are covering these routes. Steve Spagnuolo was just doing a heck of a job confusing his offense. Lamar Jackson in this game, 3 turnover-worthy plays, the fumble, dropped interception, a red zone interception that he had. 20 dropbacks when blitz. That's 43.5% of the time. 8 for 18 against the blitz, completed 44% of his passes for 125 yards and 1 touchdown. That 1 touchdown was the one where he broke out of a sack and threw it to Zay Flowers. That was a phenomenal play. But he had 16 dropbacks under pressure in this game. That's 34.8%. That's a manageable pocket. That's not a pocket that is one that you should fold completely under. Just for reference, Joe Burrow in the AFC Championship game in 2021 had 45% or more pressure on his dropbacks and still was able to win the game. And Lamar took 4 sacks on those pressures, a 25% pressure to sack ratio. And that's the difference between quarterbacks that can avoid negative plays in the playoffs. Mahomes, like Dehls mentioned, he's only taken 1 sack in the last couple playoff games.
2 in total.
2 total.
Yeah.
He avoids negative plays entirely. And when you get into these matchups, the interceptions matter, the fumbles matter, but most importantly, and I know people don't treat them as interceptions or fumbles, but sometimes sacks can be just as costly as interceptions and fumbles. There was a sack that Lamar Jackson took when the Ravens were in field goal range when Justin Reed came on a blitz, and he completely annihilated and steamrolled Justice Hill and sacked Lamar. That took the Ravens out of field goal range. That took points off the board.
Yep.
And that's a flaw that Lamar Jackson has to work on. He's a big game hunter. The reason why that Justin Reed sack happened was because Lamar was searching for the big play instead of getting the right play and just getting a couple more yards. The strip sack by Charles Omenihu, that happened because Lamar was big play hunting down the field. He was ready to take a shot, and then he got stripped from behind. These are things that, all season long, you live by the sword, you die by the sword. They've been working. But in the NFL, those split-second decisions sometimes can come back to haunt you. Lamar did not face a defense like this all season, and the first time they faced a defense like this, it showed. I agree they should have ran the ball more, but I think the Chiefs were also defending the run very well. On all their attempts, even though it was a minimal amount of attempts, the Ravens barely gained any yards. And I think the Chiefs were daring the Ravens to pass because they understood that you guys don't have the receiving talent that can match up with our secondary. And we trust our secondary on islands against your receivers. You look at the red zone interception. On that play, it's interesting because the players that were in there were a backup in Deion Bush, I believe his name was. Deion Bush, Justice Reed was one of the safeties there. They went into a down package, and a rookie named Chamari Connor. Deion Bush broke on that interception, and he intercepted Lamar. He read his eyes. And it just goes to show the trust that all these players have in Spagnuolo, where these players that on other teams probably don't make much of an impact, Spags has them playing an ultra-specific role to where they can execute at the highest level. And the perfect example of that was Drew Tranquill. Drew Tranquill with the Chiefs, they just have him spying the quarterback and going downhill and being a blitzer. And in that specific role, he is awesome. But with the Chargers, he wasn't that awesome because they was asking him to drop into covers. They was asking him to do multiple things. But there are certain players that, you ask them to do something specifically, and they can execute that at a high level. And that's what the Chiefs have a lot of, and Spags has gotten the best out of them. They just ran into a better schemed team, and the Chiefs are just more disciplined. And I think the Ravens came into this game with much more emotion. They got a lot of stupid penalties by just being excessive. But, yes, this was a disappointing game by Lamar Jackson. He has to play better in this moment. It's as simple as that.
1 touchdown. Unacceptable. Can't happen. Floating versus harassment. Just remember that, guys. Remember.
Honestly, I don't even think they gave the run game a chance because they had 4 running back runs in the first half. One was Gus Edwards, who got 15 yards. And then the other, there was 2 that was just like short yardage. It was like 3rd and 1, 4th and 1, whatever.
Zay Flowers had a couple of attempts.
It was tough to watch, man, because the game was in reach the whole time. It's not like it's a 3-touchdown game in the third quarter. And honestly, I thought the second half, they were moving the ball, but they were just having, penalties and interceptions and all that type of shit. So they never really gave it a chance. And like I said to start my monologue, it just felt like once the Chiefs went down and scored touchdowns back-to-back, they felt like they were battling uphill when they didn't have to.
I felt like that when you're going up against the Kansas City Chiefs and you're playing from behind, automatically you feel like I'm climbing Mount Everest here, especially when this is the first time you're in this moment, the AFC Championship game, going up against the beast and Patrick Mahomes. You can't go down 2 scores. It's seemingly like you have a foot on your chest and you're fighting for your life. That's just the unfortunate truth. You have to get up early on Patrick Mahomes and make him the one to be aggressive, where obviously that's very few and far between, but that's the only way it seems as if this guy can be beaten outside of Joe Burrow that first go-round in the AFC Championship game where
almost did
they came back. Second time they blew it. Well, he was up.
Yeah, and he threw an interception, yeah. No,
also,
sure.
the irony of the ending of this game, and I say it's funny because I was putting up the parlay together, and I said, man, it's a sneaky selection right now. MVS 2 receptions.
Yeah.
Don't ask me why. MVS 2 receptions. He gets that one on the sideline, and then he has that bomber to end the game. And, of course, I'm seeing that ball in the air. I see number 11. I'm thinking, you know what?
This is a drop.
There's a chance. But with what entered my mind before the game even started, I said, this guy's going to catch it, and he's going to ice this game right now. And what are the odds? Playoff time, MVS comes through and catches the ball and makes the game-winning catch. I thought that was pretty ironic because this guy has been just the definition of Butterfingers all season long. And then the biggest play of the game, he goes and he comes through for them. Credit to him, professional.
Lamar Jackson hasn't had that signature playoff moment. You can argue this other quarterback we're about to talk about has. Mr. Brock Purdy came back against the Lions down 24-7 at halftime. You can argue, Riv. I mean, you can make an argument. Riv, do you think that Brock Purdy has proved that you can trust him when playing from behind?
Well, down, what was the first week? 7? Then down 10, then down 17. And, it's funny because we've been glazing Mahomes for an hour. We've been talking.
No, legitimately.
You're talking about the Chiefs for an hour.
It was 37 minutes.
No, you started glazing them again.
Well, no, we talked about perks for the first 15 minutes.
Yeah, so. Then and I find it funny because you were talking in your monologue about how sometimes you just got to be a game manager. Sometimes being a game manager is what the team needs.
Interesting.
And then you make a play, and that's when you win the game. And I found it interesting because, we're about to talk about Brock Purdy, and Brock Purdy's a game manager. Nobody's denying that. But something about
So you still think he's a game manager?
Yeah, I think he's a game manager. Never
Let
doubted
me ask
that.
you a question, though. Didn't you just say that that's okay?
In moments. I mean, Mahomes is more than a game manager.
But let me ask you now, Riv. I'm with you. There were in moments.
Oh, no.
Where Brock Purdy was a game manager, but then there was moments.
There was moments where Brock Purdy walked out of them game manager shoes.
Never mention Mahomes and Purdy in the same sentence.
Here he goes. Here he goes.
Just please
That's
stop.
not what I did.
That's what he did, kind of.
Listen, man.
Are you picking the 49ers to beat the Chiefs in Super Bowl?
Whoa,
That's
you
not
got some
what
time.
No,
You got some time, Riv. Easy.
I'm not-
Easy.
You glaze for an hour. I don't got to sit here and answer that question.
yeah, talk.
I could just talk about my brother.
Can you answer the question
No,
after?
After. I'm going to talk about my brother Brock Purdy because I saw your tweets. Your tweets were nasty. You were.
Did they make you laugh? At
No,
least?
none of
You
them made me
didn't
laugh. I actually made
Drew
me
told
sick
me
to
they
my-
made him laugh a little
It made me
bit.
sick
Because
to
you
my
blew your
stomach.
load way too quickly.
Did you laugh, Dehls?
I did.
You
Well,
laughed?
it was on brand.
It made me sick to my stomach. And you made me sick to my stomach because you thought the game was over. And it's funny because I don't know. To me, it felt like the second half should have been how the game went all game, personally. When the Niners adjusted, defensively, they started to make plays, and offensively. I believe in my heart the second half was a collective group effort.
Absolutely.
It was Ayuk. It was Debo. It was CMC. It was Jennings. It was Brock Purdy. Like, that offense came together as a unit, and they was like, listen, we're gonna put each other in the same mode, and we're all gonna carry each other this W. And you saw that from Brock Purdy's rushing to Jennings making the one-hand catch to Debo breaking off probably negative 3 yards into a 10-yard game to Ayuk making play. Like, everybody on that offense made plays. CMC, of course. Even the fullback, Kyle, he made some plays. Like, that offense came together. And then defensively, they made some plays for sure. And I think, people are going to talk about the line. We're going to talk about the lines in a little bit, those fourth downs. And I understand that, but they had a couple drops that didn't go their way. But I think the Niners in this 2-week stretch have shown you that, they've been, it's not like the Ravens all year, but they've since dominated the NFC for the most of the year.
Yeah.
And we pretty much gave them the leeway to go to the championship, but they down to Green Bay. They've been down to Detroit. And it doesn't matter because this team has resilience. This team has a quarterback who, may be a game manager, but he is a great leader. He puts confidence in his boys, and the same thing about them. They put confidence in him, and he just makes plays. I mean, you saw this man making runs. You saw this man putting his head down and going for it. You saw this man scrambling out the pocket, throwing it to Jennings. I mean, this shit is getting ridiculous. It's got to stop at some point. The hating has got
I don't know, man.
Why you hate Purdy is weird to me, but at the same time, this guy's a cool guy. He just does what he does, and people got to put that Jimmy G shit in the garbage. People got it. He's chasing top 12 conversations at this point. He's chasing the Dax and the Goffs of the world. I thought Goff was fine. I thought Goff was pretty good. But I think, Brock Purdy's a sound quarterback for this unit. I'm glad he had his moment because this is back-to-back weeks of him having his moment. When he hasn't played good in the first half. He has not played good in either first half, in either game. I would never not critique my brother, but it's all about how you finish. And this brother just continues to finish off on a great note. Shout out to Brock Purdy. And we on to next week, man.
I'm assuming you want to talk?
I definitely want to talk.
You want to lie, but I'm here for it.
Brock Purdy is my favorite subject on the show. I love it.
Because you never
Every
win
time, him and Tua, one of my two favorite subjects.
I don't know if I believe you. Well, the amount we talked
I
about.
love talking about Brock Purdy. And I'll tell you one thing. There's nothing more that I wanted in this world for the Lions to beat the Niners.
Of course.
There's nothing more that I wanted in this world for the Lions to continue that first half dominance and continue exposing Brock Purdy. Because, you don't know how hard it's been for me for all these weeks having to not say much about Brock Purdy, not saying how I really feel about him. But then the playoffs happened. He played awful against the Packers objectively. He did play awful.
Give him a C.
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty. One drive saved him, but objectively, he was pretty awful for the entire game.
That drive is like an A++.
That's why I gave him a C at the end of the game.
Okay,
C.
some quarterbacks don't throw it across
Remember
the
when
field
Zach
and throw
Wilson had a
interceptions.
good game after one drive against the Steelers? Remember that?
Take me back.
I would have given him a C back then, too.
Fire.
And then against the Lions in the first half, he wasn't the biggest reason they were down, but he was one of the main reasons they were down. He didn't play that well.
Get taller.
If I slept during this game and I just woke up and I saw the final score, I would have been like, okay, this was a close game. The Lions gave them a fight. If I had no context to how or what happened in this game happened, I'd be like, okay, I expected the Niners to win. But how the game transpired, the Niners coming back, you got to give respect to Brock Purdy for what he did. No doubt. He played great. He used his legs. I see a lot of funny comments about how he was more Lamar Jackson than Lamar was.
Wasn't me.
No, that shit was funny as hell.
I
Greg
seen
Olson goes, there's no mistaking Brock Purdy for Lamar Jackson. But, I mean, what he's doing with his legs here.
I seen a lot of those comments circulating online. Last 2 games for me in the playoffs has been a passable grade for me. I haven't been moved in the slightest. I still have a similar opinion. I mean, really, who have the 49ers played in the playoffs? The 7-seeded Packers who
you thought would beat them.
Who yes, and they almost did. So how about you relax
but
off
you
that?
No, you're trying to minimize it, but you thought that they would lose.
The Packers were the hottest team in the league at that point, bro.
Now listen up. You beat the 7-seeded Packers, who Bryce Young threw for 300 yards and 2 touchdowns on with nobody on his team. What are we talking about?
We saw the week before they shut down Dak Prescott.
Baker Mayfield had a perfect passer rating against the
shut down his
on in that head.
Brock Purdy
shut down the Cowboys.
was awful against the Packers. Objectively, he was awful.
Shut them down.
So
what was Jordan Love?
Against who?
Mind you, top 10.
Against the Niners. What was Jordan Love?
He was average.
Top 10 quarterback.
But Purdy was awful?
Oh, my God.
Objectively awful for the entire game outside of the last drive.
Stop smiling.
Outside of the last drive, Brock Purdy was awful. Am I wrong? Bro, am I wrong?
Was Jordan Love not bad?
He wasn't good. Nah, he wasn't good.
Was Jordan Love not bad, though?
But he was good in this Lions game. The second
Jordan Love was
half
bad
was
at the
impressive
end.
as shit.
Jordan Love was bad.
Jordan Love was bad at the end, but that's why for the entire game I give him a C.
You give him a C, 2 picks in the C.
Listen. Purdy might have not hit in the homework,
He's
but he aced the exam.
How many turnover-worthy plays Jordan Love had?
He had 2.
And what were they in the second half?
What are we biggest time?
Biggest moments. Mr. looking stupid. But yeah, you see. Oh my
Looking
God.
stupid.
You know what?
No, he did look.
Who's better, Jordan Love or Brock Purdy?
That's a fucking funny ass question because the one who's supposed to be better did that dumb shit and turned the ball
So you think
over.
he's better?
Yeah, I do believe
So
Jordan Love is
ultimately,
better.
what I'm saying is that
doesn't matter.
who have if you told me coming into the playoffs, the Niners beat the Packers and then the Lions to go to the Super Bowl, would that be surprising to you?
Would
that be surprising to you?
Who in the NFC would be more impressive to beat? Maybe the Rams?
The Rams,
maybe Dallas, but after how they look against Green Bay, I don't know.
Listen, NFC's pretty weak. That's just what it is. It's not that strong of a conference.
You can't play good teams if there's no good teams.
This is what I'm trying to say. This is a Packers defense that's been vulnerable all year long. There's a reason Joe Barry just got fired. Let's just make that clear. Against the Packers, Brock Purdy had chances to get them out of the defense they were playing, and he didn't make those throws. He was awful in condensed pockets. And then you face the Lions, who 23rd ranked defense, 27th against the pass. This Lions defense is awful. Every team they've gone against has torched them. Even in the loss that the Rams had against them in the playoffs, Matthew Stafford threw for 350 plus, and was it 2 or 3 touchdowns?
That defense in the red zone was clutch.
Matthew Stafford
in the red zone. What did they do?
Nothing.
The Lions against the Lions
right.
defense against the Rams in the red zone every time.
Sure.
What did they do?
And how did that game? How did that game end?
Matthew Stafford, Cooper Kupp,
How did that game end? How did that game end?
The best offense
How
when
did
they're
that game
healthy.
end?
What did they do in the?
How did that game end?
The Lions won the game.
Okay, but how
Who'd
did
you pick?
I picked the Rams to
And
win.
the Lions won.
Who did you pick? You picked the Rams.
I picked the Rams.
What happened at the end of that game, Drew? Did Puka not get interfered with? Did you think that was not a call?
I did think it was interference personally.
So that's what we're doing.
Well, I mean, we have to talk about the context.
I know that's a reach.
It was, I don't know. That's such a iffy
He called
call.
on me, which is fine. I had to be
called
on
on you.
it.
That was strategic.
But we're talking about the Niners beat a 7-seeded team and then one of the worst defenses in the league.
But
and now it's supposed to be moved.
That 7-seeded team beat the
Joel, stop.
No.
We're not doing
Let me
competition.
finish. The fact that the Niners were in this hole against the Lions in begin with was disgusting. It made me want to spit on my mouth. They should never have been down against the Lions.
Was
in
that
the first
about
place.
Purdy? Was that the defense?
It was also Purdy. Purdy was not good.
Talk about Fred Warren again. Cooked all game.
Okay, sure.
He was,
The defense wasn't good either.
Fred Warren again.
The defense wasn't good either.
Javon Hargrave, the dude you love so fucking much, didn't do a damn thing for most of the game. Talk about that defense that you said was so great and valuable. You say Brock Purdy's not that valuable. You love to bring up all these other names. What the fuck did they do? They were torching them in the first half. Fred Warner, best linebacker in the league. You love to say he can do everything. He was getting manhandled out there.
Barbecue chicken.
Barbecue chicken.
This
What
is
are you talking
hilarious.
about?
This is hilarious
24
considering that
points.
before the podcast started, we were all sharing our top 10 players in the Super Bowl. Riv did not have Brock Purdy in the 10.
As a top, he wasn't. But he still clutched up. And I said, what did I just say in my monologue?
So my value comment isn't
I'm the most
crazy.
real at this table to
Drew,
Brock.
You're the only
Drew,
one.
what did I say in my monologue? It was a collective effort on the offensive end. Did I not say that?
I think both sides. It was collective effort why they were
The
down
team came
24-7.
together.
And it's collective
Yes.
why they won.
But we are not about to blame Brock Purdy for why they were down and getting their ass whipped.
I never said blame Brock Purdy. I said
said
he
he
was
was
a
the man.
he was no, I didn't. I
Remember?
said he was
No,
a
bro,
reason.
the
I never said he
interception
was the
was
main
inevitable.
You
reason.
said man.
The interception
I never
was
said main
inevitable.
reason.
Remember the
one
interception
he
was
got hit on.
inevitable? Yeah, the one that got tipped at the line.
Apparently he's too short
just
and
a net-
shit. Shit, this shit crazy.
I
to
never
me.
said he was the main reason. I said he was one of the reasons. I mean, this Niners offense should still be able to keep up against this defense. That's an objective fact. They should have never been down in the first
In the
place.
second
it
half,
was
they did.
it was an
But then
incredible
also
comeback.
they missed the field goal.
It's
the
a
second
four-quarter
drive.
game.
Of
It's not
course,
two
and in the
quarters.
second half, Brock Purdy played better, but also the
Better.
defense played much better.
Yes.
That's also an
And the defense was
objective
dog
fact.
shit in the first half.
Brock
Okay,
Purdy
sure.
wasn't good.
When did I ever say the defense was good in the first half?
I just kept
Well,
I
hearing
said-
Brock
you
Purdy,
just,
Brock
you
Purdy.
just,
No,
Brock
no,
Purdy.
I
just
did
been
not.
blaming Brock
No,
for
I
the
did
first
not.
half.
What I said exactly was that Brock Purdy
You said
with
it's
the defense.
inexcusable. They were down in the first half.
Yes, I didn't say it was just because of Brock Purdy. If you listen to me, I said Brock Purdy and the defense were the reasons why they were down in the first half.
You
I
can't
never
just say
said.
offense and defense. It has to be Brock Purdy.
Well,
and
he was the
defense.
worst player on the offense to me when they was down in the first half. That's why I said Brock Purdy
Who
and
was
the
worst player on
defense. It was a collection of things. I think the Lions did an exceptional job baiting this defensive line into being ultra aggressive that opened up rushing lanes. The worst player on the defense is Chase Young. Chase Young
had
has
a
been
rough
a
game.
non-factor since he joined the 49ers. You want to bring up that Javon Hargrave thing? I don't even know where that comes from because he left your defense and your defense fell off a fucking cliff. So
it
why
'cause
don't
of
you
him?
respect Javon
It wasn't
Hargrave?
because of him. It wasn't because of him though.
He definitely would have helped you.
Yeah.
Because he's much better than Fletcher Cox at this point, and he's much better than Jordan Davis at this point.
What about Jalen Carter?
Jalen Carter, it's a toss-up. They are
they have-
similar.
so they have
but
three
I
D
think,
linemen
but I think
or
Javon
interior
Carter
D
is a
linemen?
bit better.
Did
So
he help him in the first half?
Javon Hargrave,
Yeah, the Niners.
their whole defense got trashed in the first half. I'm not here defending the Niners defense whatsoever. But the fact that Brock Purdy, for most of the game against the Packers, played awful. In the first half against the Lions, he played awful. The comebacks, they were great. The last drive against the Packers, it was awesome. The second half against the Lions, he was awesome. But his total playoff stats right now are 61% completion percentage, 259 yards per game, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception, 87.7 passer rating. Is this moving anybody? This isn't moving me.
But you love to use context. We use context. He has
This-
two come from
this
behind.
this
Stat
is
watch.
move, this
Don't
is
stat watch.
this is not moving me whatsoever. It's not just stat watch, it's also watching the games. When you watch him against the Packers outside of last drive, every time he threw the ball, you gasped for
raining.
air because you thought it was going to be a terrible
raining.
throw. He also was objectively awful. And in the first half against the Lions,
So was Love again.
Okay, sure. In the last couple of drives, he was. I'm not gonna say Jordan Love wasn't awful. Jordan Love was awful.
What would you
if
prefer?
If he played better,
Yeah, what would
I
you
I would
prefer?
prefer the quarterback who played better when the game mattered. There's no doubt.
So you'd
but
prefer Brock Purdy over Jordan Love.
Jordan Love from week 11, every game for the Packers was a playoff game, and he led the youngest team on offense in NFL
played
history
Carolina
to
in
the
that stretch.
playoffs.
Purdy was also an MVP conversation for
no.
majority of the
And
like,
Jordan
he has
Love,
numbers too.
and look at the numbers that Jordan Love and Brock Purdy finished with, and tell me they're not similar. And tell me who has a much better supporting cast. It's
I don't
Brock Purdy.
disagree.
It's pretty easily. We all know Jordan Love is a better player. He just had a bad stretch. It is what it is. But he's the better player. Ultimately, these two Brock Purdy playoff games have not moved me that much. And if he really wants to move me, I said this all along, it's the Super Bowl game.
Holy fuck.
What do you mean?
Do you understand how hard it is to win a Super Bowl? And you want the only way your opinion will change on the last pick in the NFL draft
What's
who's
my current
already
opinion? What's my current
accomplished
opinion?
everything that you can, aside from, of course, winning a Super Bowl, for the last pick, he's overachieved.
I'm done
Let
with
it be
this.
no,
I'm done with this. I'm done.
Just want to point out that from week 11 now, they played the Chargers, the Lions, who you don't acknowledge at all.
They suck.
They played the Chiefs, great win. They played the Giants, the Bucks, the Panthers, the Vikings, the Bears. So if any,
The Vikings was a top 10 defense.
those
The Bears
wins
was top
move
10
you,
defense.
I don't see why him doing it against the Lions and the Green Bay
Don't
doesn't move
tell me
you.
about no Vikings
also-
defense when you're taking away wins from the Lions and
that's
the
what I'm saying.
Packers
Like,
in
you're
the
being
playoffs.
unfair.
Wait,
right
but
now.
it's also different because the difference is that Brock Purdy has 5 Pro Bowlers he's playing alongside with, and Jordan Love has 0. Jordan Love, for the majority of the season, had 0 running game because Aaron Jones was hurt all year. Yes. The Vikings were a top 10 defense. They blitzed them. Jordan Love was the best quarterback this year against the blitz and against the zone. And Jordan Love against the Vikings made miraculous throws off structure. Against the Bears,
Not
he
against the
was
Niners.
nearly perfect
Sadly.
against one of the top defenses at that time.
When it
The
mattered
Bears were
most.
one of the hottest defense. When it mattered most, he went to Dallas and he beat Dallas, and he had a
Aaron
perfect
Rodgers
game.
played
Like Brock
No,
Purdy
but that's
beat
fine.
Green Bay,
No,
just
it's
like
fine.
Brock
Let's
Purdy beat
praise
Detroit.
Jordan Love versus Dallas. But when it comes to playing the Niners, let's minimize the win for Brock Purdy, who beat the
nasty.
Packers.
Wait, what do you mean? It's not minimizing the
That's
win.
what you
Bro,
did.
for most of the game against the Packers, Purdy was not good. Let's
was
stop
not. He
acting
was
like he
not.
was good for
But
the
in
game.
the
He wasn't
biggest
good.
moment, again, I'm going off of history and how you've evaluated some moments.
When he's
you
down,
told
what
me
are you gonna do?
that you can have a shitty 1 through 3,
What
but if you
moments?
come through when I need you most in that fourth quarter,
That's you.
it ca-
That's not me.
What?
Who have I said that about?
Zach
I wanna say this.
Wilson
Zach,
Can we
are
get
we
Zach out
really
here, please?
using Zach Wilson as a measuring stick for these
should've.
conversations?
against
What are
the
we doing?
Pittsburgh
should've.
Steelers.
Bro,
you told me he had a good game.
He's a quarterback for the Jets, and I rooted for him because I want him to succeed. Obviously, I was delusional. That's my quarterback.
I
Same way
respect you for
you
being
was
honest.
delusional
I respect
about
that.
Russell Wilson.
I respect that for being
Listen,
honest.
let's stop holding these guys
say
to the
this.
Zach Wilson totem pole.
I want to say this, and this is what I said on the stream last week, and I said it's the conversation is going to be put to bed for a week when he comes back against Green Bay, but after that he's going to have to do it all again,
This
and
was
people
more
are still going to be
impressive.
haters. I will say this:
I agree.
it's always been, what is Brock Purdy going to look like when they're down? What is Brock Purdy going to look like when they're behind?
It's just always
He's now
something new.
done it
You realize that?
twice.
Something new always?
He's done it twice. He's come back twice. Mind you, he's playing like shit at home, which is putting more pressure. They already have a super team, so that's even more pressure. He already knows he's going to get the most blame. He's coming back in the second half, back-to-back games. Now, all of a sudden, we have a new goalpost. He has to do it
Win
in
the
the Super
Super
Bowl.
Bowl.
He
Right,
has to move.
in the
Now it's
Super
he's done it
Bowl.
twice. Shanahan has never done it.
No, Joe, hold on.
He's never done it. He's done it twice.
Can I defend him for just 1 second?
Oh, God,
Just
Dehls.
devil's advocate.
What is the standard for the Niners?
Because for the 49ers, if they don't win a Super Bowl, it is a failure of a season.
I agree.
But I do think there has to be some context here saying what Brock Purdy has done these last 2 games, he has put to bed those narratives. But if you want him to be in the franchise quarterback
Yes,
type of
yes,
conversation,
this is
conversation
two
about
different
that.
conversations.
Yes, I agree.
this is
Shanahan's never
baffling
done
to
this,
me.
by the way.
This is
Now
this
done it
is
twice.
Yeah, that's a fact. Shanahan's
Jimmy
also
G's never done
facing
this.
allegations.
No,
done
yeah,
it
because
twice.
Jimmy G sucks. He's not a good
Well,
quarterback.
I'm glad we
that's why
got
he
out of
went-
that
That's why.
conversation.
Listen, Brock Purdy has been better than Jimmy Garoppolo. That's never been a conversation for
tweeted
me.
about it.
Early on, it might have been a conversation for me.
Early on, you were throwing the EPA numbers around. And
Yes,
you are.
because I was showing you that with Jimmy Garoppolo, with an ass quarterback, they were
But
still
I
efficient.
just told you Purdy was better.
I know. I never said Purdy was not better. Purdy is a better player, but the moment will always come down to for the 49ers if they can win the Super Bowl or not. That's what it's going to come down to because they got this far with a bad quarterback before. I'm not saying Purdy is bad, but the reason they didn't get over the hump was because that quarterback, Jimmy Garoppolo, couldn't make the necessary plays to get them over the hump. Now it's time to see if Brock Purdy can.
he's done it twice.
I
want
have
to
a
respond.
question. I also have one thing.
Ask
One
your
thing I'll
question.
say this. So you just threw his stats out there, right? Right now.
Yes.
Now let me ask you: when you tweeted when he was down 24-7, saying forget about all them stats. So it's only we bring up stats when they're not that good, because in the regular season they were pretty damn great.
Brock Purdy in the regular season, for most of the regular season, was in picture-perfect situations. He was. When you go up against
What was
competition-
picture perfect about yesterday?
Listen, he came back. He gets an enormous amount of credit for coming back. And that's why I don't understand what you were trying to get at as like, what else does the last overall pick in the draft have to
But
do?
you start putting more and more before I'm starting to accept him.
Wait.
He already has over.
Is Purdy leveling up?
I'm curious. I'm actually questioning what you're telling me or what you're asking of me because
year 2.
Brother, he can still improve. We're here.
That's what I'm saying. Is Brock
Because
Purdy
for one-
leveling
We're
up?
indicting him already off year 2.
Is
Hold
Purdy
up.
leveling up to you?
Purdy's playing better. I don't know about leveling up. I think what he can do with his legs has always been there. That's what's been that's what separated him
From
between Jimmy G,
Absolutely.
and that's what separates him between a system quarterback like Tua Tagovailoa.
Here we go.
That's what separates them. How long have I been saying Purdy's better than Tua? Have I not been saying it for a while?
What?
I've been saying it for a while that Brock Purdy's better than Tua.
Just because he can move.
Yes, because he can do almost everything Tua can do in the pocket, and then he can also play make outside the pocket.
Okay.
So,
Noted.
I'm just trying to understand this because, for one, him being the last pick in the draft is cool and all. It's a great underdog story, and that will always be part of the story, and it should be recognized. But once you have success in the league, and once you're playing in the NFL, and once you're starting, that draft pick selection is out the window.
Let me ask you, does it still weigh heavily on your mind that that's the case? Because sometimes it feels that way.
No, it doesn't. I don't even think about where he was selected in the draft. You know what?
Then why do you doubt him?
You know what? What do you mean? You know what I think about?
Why do you doubt him?
I think about all the people that push Brock Purdy all year long as an elite quarterback, as a top 5 elite quarterback. I think of Ryan Clark going on ESPN and saying Brock Purdy has done something or done more than Lamar Jackson, Justin Herbert, and all these guys.
We don't talk about.
I mean,
that stuff.
obviously, I'm saying, but that is the narrative with Brock Purdy. 49ers fans, a beat reporter of them, David Lombardi from The Athletic, every single time Brock Purdy does something amazing, this is Joe Montana-esque, this is Steve Young-esque. Nice. There are people comparing Brock Purdy to the top echelon of quarterbacks in the NFL.
Can you talk to us?
We have him all like a top 15 quarterback, not top 5.
So that's where I have him. So I don't know what you're telling me when said, what else do I have to...
You want him to win a Super Bowl before you recognize that he's good?
I never said he's bad. When did I say he was bad? He's
Playoffs.
good.
Playoffs. You said he's been disappointed in the playoffs.
What
not to stand.
If he doesn't win the Super Bowl? What's going to be the conversation?
If he plays well, it's a non-conversation.
You told me, and us, I should say, not just me. You told us that he can't play from behind.
You have to see that.
That when his back's against the wall, he can't answer. He didn't just do it once. He did it
10
twice.
points and then 17
10
points.
and 7. So it was already hard the first time. He made it harder on himself the second time and still overcame with some help. There was some help along the way,
that's
but he
where I
still
feel like
played great.
That's where I feel like we get into the context conversation because, okay, looking at this objectively, if Brock Purdy had played phenomenally in the Packers and the Lions game, I'm not really saying much. I'm not. The reason why the Niners were about to get upset against Green Bay was in large part to Brock Purdy's play for a majority of the game. Agree. The last drive, Brock Purdy played well. He got the job done. Okay, he deserves recognition for that. We can't forget about the other 58 minutes of football that were played where he wasn't good. So when they almost lost to the Packers, and he was arguably the biggest reason why. Against the Lions, you can point to the defense being the biggest reason why they were in the deficit to begin with, but Purdy also, his play didn't give you much confidence going into the second half. In the second half, he played much better. He played much more free. He broke some sacks. He made plays on the move. He was awesome.
He was exceptional.
I'm not going to discount what he did in the second half. He was awesome. 49ers got a fumble on Jahmyr Gibbs that put them in perfect field position to get a touchdown. So the defense also made plays in the second half
he gets
to help
C+
that
for yesterday.
To help that, I think it was a C+. You know, if you want to, I'll say B. I'll level with you and I'll say B. I'll say it right here. I'll level with you and I'll say B.
All right, cool with that.
But I look at the past 2 playoff games that the Niners have played.
He's showing me something right there.
I look at the past 2 games the Niners have played. They have almost lost because Purdy was not up to his regular season standard.
He just singled out Purdy there.
He did. Again.
Because he was one of them.
There.
Because versus the Packers, he was definitely the biggest reason why.
Okay.
Versus the Lions, I would say he was the second, third. The defense was number 1, but them almost losing directly correlates to he wasn't giving them the level of play that they should expect.
The first offensive drive that they had, they got into field goal range. Moody biffed it.
Yeah.
They score again. The Lions score again. Purdy answers with a touchdown drive himself. Then the Lions score again. What the fuck do you want him to do?
We have to understand expectations when coming into these games because, of course, I would have loved the Lions to win
I know,
this.
you've made that clear.
But I picked the 49ers because they're a better team. And I had no doubt in my mind that Brock Purdy was going to play bad in this game. I didn't even think the first half was going to happen. I thought Brock Purdy should have played great the entire game against this Lions defense. This Lions defense is not good. It's not good. So the fact that he had moments where he wasn't good, I'm like, you got to play better than that. He redeemed himself in the second half. But
Did
still,
he have moments of not being good?
Has Dak ever had a moment like this?
No.
Has Kirk Cousins ever had a moment like this?
Kirk Cousins beat the Saints on the road in the playoffs.
All right, can I ask a question? Where in this game will you just objectively say, bad Brock Purdy, bad?
In the first half, he was definitely underwhelming.
Bro, we're going
entire first half.
It's a
are you gonna?
first
Are we
half,
really
bro.
blaming the interception? Like this is the one part that I'm looking at and thinking, hey, this is where you fucked up.
No,
Brock.
he also was missing throws when the pocket was collapsing. When there was bigger bodies around him, when there was condensed pockets, he was missing throws.
Because on that first drive that they had, that they didn't pick up points because Moody missed, he had a play on second down where the pressure's in his face, and while he's getting hit, he stays strong and delivers a strike to Deebo Samuel.
You can't tell me that with a straight face that Brock Purdy, when he's been playing with condensed pockets, he's been awesome. When he's
he
playing,
struggles.
when he's playing in condensed pockets, he struggles.
Condensed pockets, he
started
did.
to move.
He
What
did.
are we doing
But
here?
I'm curious, and I want to ask you guys a question because I have not said Brock Purdy's bad. I think Brock Purdy's
You said
good.
he was mid. You said he was mid.
Well, mid, good, whatever. It's a synonym, I think.
The tweet is
no, no, no,
no.
Is Tua good, Dehls?
Huh?
Is Tua good?
He's fine.
Is he mid?
He's fine.
Saying Tua is mid would be ridiculous. Brock Purdy is mid. When the situation isn't perfect, his true colors show. All of them stats don't matter now. Stop hyping this
problem. He
fraud.
don't stand on his
Stop
game.
hyping
He
this
don't stand on his
fraud.
game.
What are you
so
doing?
What
What are you
A fraud does
doing?
not win that game.
This is terrible, Joel. This is bad.
Why is it
I feel like
terrible?
it's an intervention right now.
Why is it terrible? So let me ask y'all something. What do you think Purdy is?
He's good.
No. Stop. It's not what we think Purdy is. We are very aggravated at this table because you said in the season, I would like to see what Brock looks like coming back when they're down. Yes, when they're trailing. I don't think he would perform well. Fine. We all disagreed. Now he's done it twice. Now what you're doing is you're trying to discredit the talent. Oh, they're the seventh seed Packers, even though they were the hottest team in the
And the
league.
team that he picked.
You picked.
No,
They're
they should've won.
the
He
Detroit
lost me right
Lions.
off that. I was gone.
The rest
They
of the
should've
shit we
won.
could debate about,
If
that was
if you want to say, I don't think he's going to show up against Spags defense, who have they just locked up Lamar. I don't give a fuck. That's fine. They just locked up Lamar. I really don't care. But you cannot sit here and keep moving the goalposts where he has shown you twice that backs against the wall situation is not perfect at the moment, but I can still get it done.
So I'm just curious because Brock Purdy, he has not only been down against these two teams that he just faced.
Mm-hmm.
He's been down more in the regular season against the Browns,
missed a
against
field
the
goal.
Ravens, against the Vikings,
The
against
regular
the
season
Bengals.
numbers trailing are ugly.
The regular season numbers
To be
for
fair,
Brock.
the Browns won, they missed a field goal.
Okay,
So
I
other two,
understand.
though, you got.
I understand, but in the regular season, Brock Purdy's numbers when trailing are not good.
But why do we give a fuck about
Okay,
that?
Because
let-
now
let me-
you're right. That shit does not matter.
Let me
Let me
throw
finish
that
my-
out the window,
Let
and
me
we talk
finish
about
my
these
point.
two.
Y'all not let me finish my point. So you're telling me let me just make this clear.
Go ahead.
The last drive of the Packers game was not the only drive that the Niners were trailing in. Let me just make that very clear. The Niners were trailing for half of the game.
What's the point of that?
And Brock Purdy was not good for most of that chunk.
But the last drive that they needed him, he
Okay,
was.
wasn't good
sure,
for the first
sure,
half.
but that's not the only moment that he was trailing in.
Okay, so
that's
what
not,
though?
What, you're gonna start at the exact point where they started trailing?
No, because they were trailing for a portion of the game.
when they were trailing going to the
The
second
only
half, they were
time that
trailing
Jordan
17.
Love was trailing, he couldn't get it done, right?
Okay, but what I'm saying is that Brock Purdy was trailing more than just that final drive. And I think overall he didn't play good against the Packers. Against the Lions in the second half, he played great. You're not going to hear me say nothing about the Lions game. The Lions game, there's nothing for me to nitpick. He was awesome in the second half.
You said
were talking
in the Lions game, he's mid. Stop hyping up
In the
this
first half.
fraud.
I just said the second
stats
half.
don't
In
mean
the first half.
nothing.
That was
In
the
the
first
first
half
half.
tweet? That was the first
That
half
was
tweet?
first half tweet.
Undoubtedly first
So
half.
so I got
He done. He got to fucking out of himself.
So this is my thing though. So based on the regular season stats when trailing, based on the game versus the Packers and the Lions, because he was good. Well, he was great against the Lions in the second half. Now, all of a sudden, I should trust him fully.
No, but I think he showed that he get the job done.
Playoffs in the
get the job
biggest
done.
games of the season.
Is
Did
he-
he just do it
is he-
once?
I don't give a fuck about week 7 against the Browns
Is he
anymore.
the dude?
No.
Is he the dude you want
And
trailing?
they
No,
still
but
with
he
a number
showed
one
he
seed
could
in
do
the
it.
NFC. I don't care about the regular season.
In the biggest moments of the season.
You trust Brock Purdy 100%. You trust him.
100%.
Fuck all
After
that.
two
Yes,
back-to-back
yes.
weeks.
I trust Brock 100% that if
You
he's
trust him
down,
100%.
he can get
I
it
trust him
done.
a lot.
You trust him
100.
100%.
You asked me 100%. That's a lot.
I'm saying 100%.
I feel like
like, what are we
back-to-back
doing?
weeks against Spags. I don't know.
He's
I don't know.
definitely gone from like 60%
Here we
at the end
go.
of week 18 to
But
like
Drew,
80,
if
85.
if he doesn't show up against Spags, are you really gonna drop the
No,
trust?
no.
Like, who's done it?
Nope.
Outside of who's done it?
Tom Brady, maybe.
If
That's
the
it.
dudes that are better than him ain't do it, what the fuck are we doing here?
Fuck.
What are we
They
doing
do.
here?
The
Well,
only,
we also-
the
I
only
trust him
difference
a fuck
The
ton.
Kansas City
The
Chiefs
only-
scored 17 points, right?
Yes.
This brother was down 17 at the half.
The only
and
difference.
came back and won.
the
How many points did
only-
Lamar score?
nothing basically.
This
Doesn't
man
matter.
scored 17 in the second
But
half.
I think the only
Lamar
difference-
Jackson got
I-
George Kittle. He got CMC.
I was
He got
gonna
Debo. He
say,
got
the only
Ayuk.
difference is
He got
you
Trent
can-
Williams.
You can make the
He
argument
got
that
Kyle Shanahan.
we all put blame on
That line was
Lamar,
not that
but the
good.
game plan wasn't good. I know going into this game, Kyle Shanahan isn't going to give CMC the ball four
Was
times.
the offensive line for the Niners that good?
Against the Lions, you're
Against the
saying?
line. I don't think it was
No.
that good.
Purdy was the one
This man,
escaping and making
this man
especially
had to
second
run
half,
out the
especially second
pocket,
half, yeah.
running on 20 to 30-yard runs.
Nah, Purdy was special with his legs yesterday.
The Niners' offensive line has been an issue all season. It hasn't
Sure,
been one of
correct.
the worst, but it hasn't been.
It's
that
overrated,
good.
most definitely because of Trent.
Not to me.
No, most
I
definitely.
know that
To the
it's not that
casual
good,
watcher, yes.
But Kyle Shanahan does an excellent job
There's a
scheming
reason
it
why
up,
he's the man.
so
course.
it doesn't get exposed. That's why when they're behind and they're trailing, and you can get these, just straight rushes to them, they're very vulnerable.
Yo,
Except for
trust
these
his
last 2
quarterback.
weeks.
I mean,
Yes.
yeah, against the Lions, I guess, but the Lions don't have a great pass rushing unit. They don't. Outside of Aiden Hutchinson, he's the only one that can get pressure. Everybody else
fooled me.
cannot get pressure.
But wasn't that one of your big things of like, the chance for the Lions to win is like, hey, Aiden Hutchinson's going to be lined up opposite
Yeah,
of Trent.
and they were chipping him, and they weren't giving him any
But
free
that
free
makes
rushes.
sense that you
No,
would
of
do
course,
that.
of course.
Yeah.
But I'm saying like the Lions' defensive line is not the Chiefs.
Overwhelming.
It's not overwhelming. It's really not that good of a defensive line. If we rank the Lions' defensive line with the other 32 teams in the NFL, it probably would be bottom 10. It wouldn't be that good. Aiden Hutchinson is the only standout, and
McNeil's good too.
it's much easier to single out an edge rusher more so than an interior defensive lineman because they can just wreck the game so many different ways, and it's easier to get mismatches for them. Listen, Brock Purdy, he's played fine. Up to this point, he's played in the playoffs, he's played fine. He hasn't played exceptional. He hasn't played great. And I'm not going to say he's played great. He's played fine.
Nobody's actually.
Listen,
say
the
that,
second
but
half of this
your
Lions game,
goalpost movement is nuts.
What's the
It is
goalpost
nuts.
moving?
You went
What am I
from
moving?
he can't play from behind to he has to win the Super Bowl to move me.
Can you agree that's two different conversations for the 49ers and for Brock Purdy about the Super Bowl?
Yeah, I never said that he has to win Super Bowl to move me. He has to play well. He has to play well.
To move
If
you in what
if
degree?
if Brock Purdy, if the Niners lose the Super Bowl, what's the reason for that? It depends on how they lose. If they lose because Brock Purdy is an absolute stinker, then yes, it's definitely a game that you have to judge him on.
Mm-hmm.
So 100%. The game is not just for me if you win or lose. If Brock Purdy plays well and they lose,
I think the Super Bowl
care.
is different. I think you could play if you play bad. As long as you fucking win the Super Bowl, no one's gonna care how you did it.
I know, but I'm
Like
saying
if Brock
for
Purdy
me,
throws for 140 and wins, I promise you, that's
no
my
one's gonna be
brother.
talking about Brock
I'm
Purdy.
saying for me, as long as you play well, that's fine. That's good enough for me. That's fine. Jalen Hurts played well in the Super Bowl. The only debates we got into about Jalen Hurts was if he played better than Mahomes or not. I never said Hurts had a bad game. I never criticized him after that game. The Eagles lost, and I moved Jalen Hurts up in my rankings because of that performance. So just because of a loss, that didn't move me. You have to play well.
A game-winning drive don't move you either.
It doesn't apparently, 2 of them.
Do you feel
17
more
points in the
comfortable
second half
now
don't
about
move you
Brock
either.
Purdy than you did at the end of the regular season? Can we get that at least?
Yeah.
Okay.
Really?
Take that. We'll
It's-
take
you
that.
never- you-
Let's talk about the Lions now.
You never asked me that question straight up. It's a little bit. I went from 5% to 6% for sure.
Listen, you have lost every single Purdy argument you've had at this table. Every single
Well, nah,
one.
you
And
said he was
you're-
more valuable than Brian and Ayuk. That's not true. Ayuk saved his lunch.
saved.
It was
his lunch?
DPI.
He saved his
Be
lunch.
unbiased for a
the
second.
51 rushing yard didn't save Brock's lunch.
It was overthrown as shit.
It was.
But
was.
he also did push off of him. He
bit.
did.
Listen, He's going up against the Chiefs. That's your last calling card.
Shout out to that ladybug. On God.
Yeah, that was dope.
I mean,
dope
outside of me,
You're preying on because you preyed on fucking the Lions to do it. You're preying on Spags, and that's a good chance.
I mean, I prayed
This
on
is a
every
double
team to
whammy
do
too
it.
because it's Mahomes on
Yeah,
there.
I prayed on every team to do it. But
it's nuts.
Vegas all year long, this is their Super Bowl champion or NFC winner.
No. You don't get that pass because you thought Dallas was gonna go, and then you thought Green Bay was gonna beat them. You ain't Vegas. You didn't even believe in Vegas.
I never said I get that pass. I just said that's what Vegas believed.
You didn't believe in
what I
Vegas.
said.
I don't care about Vegas.
Did you believe in Vegas?
This is New
So
Jersey.
for the Niners to come out,
Who was your team to come out the NFC?
I think it was the Niners.
It was the Niners. Who was your team to come out the NFC?
Preseason?
No,
Probably
ju-
the Eagles.
just
no,
right now.
Niners.
Right.
I think so.
Playoff record. Who was your team to come out?
Who was yours?
The Cowboys.
Oh,
I'm
so
saying-
not the
no,
Niners.
not the Niners.
Either it was the
Okay.
Niners
Who's
or the
your
Eagles.
number 2 team to
There's
come
no
out?
way you had
Oh,
the
it's the
Eagles going to
Packers.
the
Oh,
Super
so
Bowl.
not the
Fandom
Niners.
might have
So
had you
Niners
do
were
it.
in 1 or 2.
I'm a fan.
No, but I'm just saying.
You had the Jets in the playoffs. but you not
I'm
the Jets.
different. I'm
Rodgers
different.
doesn't get hurt.
Vegas. There's a reason why the Niners were favorites. Like, and I said that the Niners are a dominant team. There's no doubt
Sure.
they're a dominant
They
team.
got a dog at every single position, including quarterback.
And that's why
Respect
he's not
that.
in your top 10 players heading to Super
No,
Bowl.
I actually changed it.
Ray,
Okay, he changed it off an argument,
I
but he
respect
didn't
that.
have that shit before.
I respect
Well,
that.
that was and Drew. Did I not say in the car I didn't make a list yet?
He did.
He didn't.
I did.
Yeah, but then when we was talking about it, he said I went through these
Ray,
players
you
and
fucked
Purdy's
up.
not been here yet.
You should have said he's in the top 10. I just got to
Well,
figure out
now
where.
he's
No,
in the top 10.
he's in my top 10.
Yeah.
I made that
And he
list
just
right when I got it.
and he just said
I respect the honesty. I do, but it's tough.
and he just said that
Better man than me.
Purdy's a game manager.
I would have lied. I
From
would've
the
said
beginning
he
of
was.
the
Purdy
segment.
is a game manager.
So after everything,
it's a lot of
so
But you
games
said
in the
Mahomes
league.
was a game manager to a degree.
Mahomes for what fucking game? Let's relax.
And he
That's what you
made, and
said
he
to
made
me.
some superhero plays.
He
But
did.
Purdy also made some really nice,
did.
more than
There's
game
There's a lot
plays
of
in this
game managers in the league.
Let's
That doesn't
stop.
mean I don't think he's top 15.
So after what you've seen from Purdy, you're still labeling him a game manager.
I would say he's a game manager that can make plays out of structure, which is fine. He's one of the better guys that can do that. You want to try to get something
He doesn't
out of
have
me.
the arm of Allen.
That's
He
not
doesn't
gonna
have the
happen.
legs of Lamar, but
Yeah,
he has
his
enough
arm isn't the
strength.
strongest.
He's
he's not the
accurate
biggest
enough.
guy. He's still
He's
short.
like the GOAT average player. Like, he is the greatest average player. He's
So
obviously
you
not
think
average.
Purdy's average?
No, I just think that he does everything at such a
I think-
okay levels
I think
to great
he's-
level.
I think he's like slightly above average.
Yeah.
Listen, I think he's
he's
at the
good.
He's at
He's
the.
the GOAT average QB. That's a compliment.
He's good as shit.
That's crazy. I'm gonna be honest.
You'll
You
hate
you guys scolding me for 30 minutes and then your consensus and conclusion is he's the GOAT average.
What does he do
quarterback
bad?
Is
No,
nuts.
What does he do
this is
bad?
Daniel Jones throwbacks. We
Nuts,
were
yeah.
getting.
All
we
right,
were,
come on, don't do
I
that.
know, I know.
Don't do that.
But we
Don't
were
do
getting
that.
on you because you were saying Purdy's got to win a Super
What does
Bowl.
he do
That's
bad?
what we were shitting
What does
on you
Brock
for.
do bad?
Bro, I'm kind of lost at this because the Niners standard is a Super Bowl, bro.
Niners, yes.
And it's not that they just have to win a Super Bowl. He just has to play well. If he plays well, that's fine. That's good enough for me.
But let me ask you a question. We think that the Niners are favored to win a Super Bowl. Is it because of Brock, or is it because this roster is amazing?
Well, if you think Brock is as good as advertised, then it's probably because of
how
both.
fair is it of us,
And it should be both.
the consensus, the world, to say a year 2 quarterback needs
We
to
really forget
win
he's in year
the
2.
Super Bowl, or it's an indictment on who he is as a quarterback? How fair is that? Really, just take a step back and think about that for a second.
He has to play well. He has to play well.
He's
It's
in
not.
Context doesn't
It's
matter.
not. So you're saying if he doesn't play well, then you're just exonerating him of blame?
I'm just saying he has a lot of career left.
Okay,
Drew, if he doesn't
But
play
he has to
well,
play well.
you do know the number one
Okay, my
conversation we're
point
gonna
being
have
is,
is do you
but
replace
okay,
Purdy?
But the question is right now, where there's still questions on his name, DK. But against the Packers, when you needed him, he came through. Against the Lions, for the entirety of the second half, he came through.
But I'll say this. Just like the regular season gets thrown out because of those 2 games, if he has a stinker in the Super Bowl,
Okay, of
these
course,
last
there's
2 games
always
also get thrown
narratives.
out.
There's always narratives.
I mean, what's the narrative? If he plays bad, he plays bad.
You really think if he plays bad against Spags defense, people are really going to be upset about it?
Yes.
I mean, you got to play good. You have
but
the
why?
monstars on
It's Super Bowl.
offense.
But think about the amazing quarterbacks that have gone against the Chiefs and have underperformed this postseason
okay,
run.
I don't disagree.
You're speaking on
Tua
Lamar.
and Lamar.
Tua's not a fucking great quarterback. Get
He's
that
not
bum
a
out of
great-
here.
What about
He's
Joe
not a
Burrow?
great-
Bum out of
What
here.
about Joe Burrow?
Joe Burrow.
Joe Burrow, outside the offensive line, I think he has a talented trio.
But
of
that's
wide
Hurts
receivers.
fucking
last year, man.
huge.
He's so special.
Nah,
Yeah,
I
Jalen
understand,
Hurts really
but-
is one of the few.
But he's already
Jalen Hurts,
better than
Tom
Brock
Brady,
Purdy,
the
and
only
he
two to
has-
really go
he has
crazy.
Wide receiver trio.
So-
he has not played well against the Chiefs.
Joe Burrow has played well against the
Talk
Chiefs.
about the last one.
The last one he played well. The reason why he wasn't able to get a pass off was because of the offensive line. They didn't allow him to.
Brock Purdy was the Detroit Lions defensive line was causing some
Bro,
problems.
the
for that
Bengals
offensive line.
won. The Bengals won. They were ranked in the 30s.
I know where they're ranked.
And they lost all their starters
I
for the
understand
game.
what you're saying, but that offensive line for the Niners did not look good against the Lions. It did not. The pocket was collapsing multiple times. He had to break out and get multiple runs.
You know how much of a luxury it is to at least have one guy that's protecting your blind
I
side that you
understand
don't
what
have to
you're saying.
worry about?
Yes.
For Joe
But
Burrow, that's not that.
Yeah,
It's not
I
that.
get what you're saying, but
So,
that offensive line was not that
so
great.
this is the thing. I mean, Spagnuolo, he's been great for sure. Lamar Jackson had, over 300 total yards in the game. He had 1 touchdown.
He did.
2 turnovers.
Yeah, I didn't even know
And
this.
he had a touchdown that should have been a touchdown, but Zay Flowers fumbled. So he should have had 2
To be
touchdowns,
fair,
2
Zay
turnovers.
Flowers had a good amount of yak after that.
Okay, no, for
Cute,
sure. But
uh-huh.
I mean, but the play was made by Lamar, and that would have been a touchdown by Lamar
Are you
if he
saying
doesn't
Lamar
fumble
played
there.
well now?
No, I think Lamar's fine.
You said Lamar didn't play well.
Lamar played at
he
a
was
strong
disappointing.
6.5.
He was disappointing.
I don't understand what that means.
What do you mean? You can be. He's an
Yes,
MVP.
yes,
he got to
yes,
play like an
yes,
MVP.
yes.
If
He's
he
right.
don't
So
play
he
like an
didn't play
MVP,
well.
he's disappointing.
So he didn't
He
play
played fine. I thought he was the brightest spot of their offense.
Okay. I mean, it wasn't a
Probably.
bright spot.
Unless
probably,
you
right?
want to say Zay or
Yeah,
Lamar,
no,
but
no, I think I
Lamar
would go
had the
Lamar.
biggest plays of the game. You look at the Zay Flowers touchdown when he broke outside of a Drew Tranquil sack,
Yeah.
the 50-yard across the field,
Shit was nuts.
across the field, like
Play
outside the
on
numbers,
Yeah,
The play on 4th down was tough too. The one that he scrambled very early.
catching his own pass and making that a first down that probably would have been intercepted.
That shit was stupid.
I mean, like, he made objectively great plays,
He made
but
some
you're right.
terrible
plays.
He didn't play well
He
to
had
his standards,
moments.
for sure. I'm not going to say that he played well to his standards. Josh Allen played great against Spags. Tua didn't play well, but listen, I mean, when it's cold weather, we know Tua
Well, we've
not
already
gonna play
passed
well.
those conversations.
Wait,
Those
listen,
conversations.
Purdy's better than Tua.
Yeah, those are. We passed those.
The difference
We locked
between
in on
the
different
difference
things. No offense,
between
my brother.
Number 1 in yards, top 5 in touchdowns.
the,
Number 1 in
the
completion
difference
percentage.
between Lamar Jackson
One
and
game.
Brock
Literally
Purdy.
1 game.
Lamar Jackson is a better player than Brock Purdy, better
100%.
quarterback, 100%, right?
Yes.
But the Niners have Ayuk, Debo, Kittle, McCaffrey. The game plan for all these teams, the Packers and the Lions included, coming into the playoff game against the Niners was, we got to stop the run first. And Purdy is not a product of the run. It's the offensive line and it's CMC and it's the scheme that Shanahan runs. They stop that most important cog of the offense, and then they worry about the secondary, which is Brock Purdy.
Yeah.
With other guys, with Josh Allen, with Lamar, I'm worrying about these quarterbacks and what they can do to me through the air first, and then I'm worrying about everything else. Early in the show, you mentioned why were the Bills able to run on the Chiefs? It was because it was by design. The Chiefs were making sure that Allen didn't beat them through the air. That's why the Bills, this was the first game all season against the Chiefs. They didn't have one player over 20-plus yards. That was by design. You know, they were letting them run, having
had
light
field.
boxes.
Stephon Diggs stinks.
Yeah, they were letting the Bills run on them because they were more worried about the pass. Against the Ravens, more worried about the run, so they trusted their corners more.
Didn't even do it. They didn't even fucking run.
I know, but I'm just saying
They
that's
said,
how.
fuck it, 82%. Let's do it. Let's let it rip, baby.
But I'm saying that's the difference. So when we're talking about Purdy against the Chiefs or Lamar against the Chiefs, it's more so the Ravens against the Chiefs and the Niners against the Chiefs. The Niners got more personnel and a better play caller and designer to be better situated in those moments. As great as the Chiefs defense has been all year, Purdy should not play bad in this game. He should have a good game.
He should have a solid game. I think he should have a solid game. There is a world where he could play bad. The Chiefs defense has been elite.
It's going to be difficult, for sure. That's a top-end defense, but
Again, you just said there's only been one quarterback or one team against an elite team that they've allowed more than what?
25 yards.
25?
25 points. I
Yeah,
should say
and that was the Packers?
That was Packers and Jordan Love.
So only Jordan Love of all the QBs in the league were able to throw to have that amount of points on them. So we're gonna automatically say, with all the quarterbacks that they face, Brock Purdy still should play well.
What's gonna happen is, and I'm gonna tell you exactly how this is gonna go.
Like he just tried to formulate it like, hey,
It's
you
gonna
should be
go
all
again.
right. But let's just be real. With everything you've just thrown at me, it's seeming as if
it's very in
he's
tune
gonna
with how
be
this
putting
goes.
But Josh
Brock-
Allen didn't
play
score
well.
25-plus points and still played a great game.
For sure, because a lot of shit
he's
happens.
Josh Allen.
Brock's gonna play well.
The way that you say
And then
this is like it.
People are still gonna
never gonna be
critique.
Josh.
They're gonna move the goalpost again. Brock's gonna play well. They're gonna do the same thing over again, and then that's what's gonna
So
happen.
question. So if Brock doesn't play well, we are exonerating this game. This game is a pass.
No, it's a Super Bowl. It's very
Yeah,
important.
it's
Just
a
like how we
Super Bowl.
exonerate the regular season, talk about these playoff games. If he plays bad in the Super Bowl, we're exonerating these playoff games. We're talking about.
I'm just trying to make sure because
Yeah.
it sounded, because by the way you were talking, it sounded like it doesn't matter if he plays good or bad because this is Spags
Listen,
defense.
Joe Burrow is still a top 5 quarterback. He didn't play overly well in the Super Bowl. Nobody used that as an indictment. Of course, the year after he played better
played
than
good
he
in the
did.
Super Bowl, bro. Like, I'm tired of this narrative that he didn't play that good. He played
tomato,
good.
I
tomato.
can't do it. We can't do another debate.
I won't do it.
He played
I won't do it. I
tomato.
will say he was gifted 75 yards. I will say
75 yards. You know that play came on. No, for real. You know that play came on 1st and 10. So it's not like it was a 3rd down where they were off the field after that play. Okay. And if you even with that
Didn't
play,
move the ball much in the whole game.
No.
even with that play, I mean,
1 touchdown, right?
T. Higgins scored, but it was a dot by Joe Burrow, and the contact wasn't egregious, bro.
Can we talk about
It
the
wasn't
Lions?
egregious.
Can we talk about the Lions?
It wasn't egregious.
Talk about your team, though.
Can we talk about the Lions?
It wasn't egregious.
It wasn't egregious. He mangled his helmet.
So with
oh my God.
So-
what are we? You can
so
be a fan and not be crazy.
no, I watched the game back the other day.
He
It wasn't
mangled his
because
helmet.
I watch football on my free time, but it wasn't that egregious, bro. It wasn't.
So T. Higgins didn't grab
So I'm saying
his face
so
mask.
This is what I mean. This is what I mean when I say it only comes to context with Russell Wilson, Daniel Jones, and Tua.
What?
Because with Joe
Them
Burrow,
three names are
because with Joe Burrow, with the context that his offensive line was crap.
All I said
against
was
Aaron
he still
Donald,
was top 5.
against
I wasn't even knocking
against
him.
Aaron Donald, Von Miller, Leonard Floyd, Sebastian Joseph Day.
legendary team, man.
I
Joe Burrow's
wasn't
offensive line was
knocking
crap,
him.
and you're saying he didn't have a good
I
Super Bowl. Was he good in the
said-
Super Bowl?
I wouldn't say he was
Get
bad.
outta
He
here.
wasn't good.
So with the
Is
context,
this not egregious?
no,
I mean,
I'm
come on, bro.
floored.
that's not, bro. That's a still image. Look at the full
Okay,
one.
let's do the full image. Let's do the full image. He grabs his face back and brings it the other way.
Jalen Ramsey sold that. What are you talking about?
You're Joel, you're
So
better
you're
than
telling
this.
hold up. Dehls, with the context of the
It's a terrible call.
with
I mean, we could be-
with the context of the game, Joe Burrow didn't play well.
I think it was a disappointing game from Burrow for what he was in the regular season.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Get out of here.
He's
bro.
not,
Oh my
he's not
God.
He's not giving you that.
And the thing that kind of sucks about that, what just happened is, I was literally giving praise to Burrow. The Super Bowl was an indictment
can I
on
see the play?
him. It's not the
I've never seen
best.
that. I've never seen it. Let's see what's going on. What they call?
Nothing. It
Nothing.
was a touchdown. Hold up.
Make sure the camera can't pick this up. No, it's not.
Ooh, T got away with it.
And it was.
Can you do me a favor? Can you do me a favor, Dehls?
The Rams, you gotta get a Rams.
Hold on. Can you do me a favor, Dehls?
Yes.
Show the entire play. Show how Joe Burrow got that ball off in the first place. Joe Burrow evaded a sack.
He did.
And then threw it outside the numbers.
It's a dot.
A dot. So show that. So
why does that matter though?
it matters because even though you can say he got away with the call,
did.
but that was objectively a great play that Burrow made.
was.
But
Yeah,
again,
unfortunately, it was a
but
penalty.
Ramsey.
So you're not
That's a
about to tell me that he
Ramsey-
didn't play a good game.
Ramsey on his hip gets assaulted.
Can you show the Burrow angle to Riv, please?
It was it was a beautiful play.
Thank you. Everyone in the comments saying we know the play. Ramsey got violated.
Oh, okay, Burrow.
No, Burrow was
like
fire
that.
on
That was
this
a flag.
one.
But are we talking
No,
about?
Burrow played a great
We're
play.
saying it was
Great
a
play.
good. So Joe Burrow played good. His stats for the game was 263 yards, 1 touchdown,
This
0
was
interceptions.
75
206 yards, you
So
said,
you
correct?
take that away, that's about
263
180.
In the Super Bowl.
263, 1 touchdown. Yes.
So the
And that was the-
75,
that was
yes,
in 0
facts. The
touchdowns.
22 for 33.
And with the 75 removed, he goes for unfortunately under
Okay,
200.
so that wasn't that first down?
down,
Okay, 75 moves. So now your hypothetical situation is that they go 3 and out on that drive.
Here's the thing.
They just
A
weren't
lot
moving
of
the
that
ball a lot
game,
that game.
a lot of that game, they were not moving the ball.
They had a touchdown drive before that play. What was the score there?
I think this was like the first play after halftime.
Yeah, it was. I'm saying, what was the score though?
13-10 Rams. It was the first play after halftime.
Joe Burrow led a touchdown drive
And
early
Joe
in that
Mixon
game.
threw the touchdown.
Yeah,
I
but
remember.
Joe Burrow led them down the field to make that
Can we
play
talk
possible.
about the Lions, please?
What are you talking about?
Man. Joe Burrow debate. He hasn't played in fucking 3 months.
And the shit that sucks was I was giving him respect.
No, it's funny. No, it's funny that the only way you're giving Joe Burrow respect is if Lamar
How?
Jackson loses.
What?
Minnesota and the
All I
Titans.
said was
They're in a
he
dogfight.
was still a
Rockets were
top.
whipping the Lakers.
I know they
ass.
are.
By 30.
They are. Are we
Celtics
still
came
losing?
back, by the way.
I don't know. I'm gonna check. It did. Okay.
You still think Tua's going to
Jaylen
have a
Brown,
better
7
career
assists,
Then who?
0 turnovers.
than Joe Burrow?
There we go.
Yeah, God willing.
11 rebounds.
Oh, it's a 10-point game. 3 minutes left.
There you go.
All
You were
right.
down- You were down like 30 at one point.
You were. It was
Yo,
like
Jalen Green
1
was giving us hell in that
Yeah, let's
first
get
half.
past Joe Burrow. Let's get past.
We have
Christ.
some super chats
Let's
here.
do the super chat.
So super chats from we have one from
After we read the
Caden
super chats,
Bass.
I will use the bathroom.
just a quick shout out to Drew. Women's Rumble was definitely better than the men's.
That ending was fire. Shout out to my girl Jade Cargill. I mean, my lord, she put on a show. And Liv Morgan coming back was tough.
I thought Bianca Belair was gonna come back.
Bianca was there.
Oh, she was.
Yeah, she was there.
In front of Jade.
She had a great moment where Jade and her, they both have a woman over their heads.
Huh?
You're WWE guy.
Just there for Randy.
I respect that.
A little bit, you know?
They both have a woman over their head. They kind of just you launch them behind them, and they have this stare off because this is a future match.
Show him by his body, man.
These are two of the strongest women that there are on the planet.
Before you
Good
use the
physique for his
bathroom,
age.
the
good
context.
physique for
I
his
just want to get this straight. The context around
you wanna
Tua's
like
game
live it?
versus the Chiefs for you made the game awful to like bad,
Did he
right?
pound you?
No, he was pretty bad. He was
But he wasn't. He wasn't awful.
Nah, he
I've
was
heard of
pretty bad.
No, stop.
Poor guy was pretty bad. Sadly, it breaks my heart.
Because I'm just saying, if context can make an awful performance into a bad
You
one,
go to the bathroom.
context can make
Right.
Go to the
average to
bathroom,
good.
please.
I said
Now
it.
we're
Tua
going,
was never
please,
good. I never said he was good.
Need
I
to
wish
get
he
you out
was.
of this room.
Thank you.
Yeah, Tua stinks, man. We're off that.
You know, it's funny because
Josh?
Yeah. See how fair is that? Like how fair is that?
Well,
I mean, my
who
next guy,
else?
Purdy.
Purdy, I guess.
And then Jettis. He's a wide receiver.
it's funny because I go into these deep dives
He's
on.
bringing up PFF. Numbers.
No, I go into these
Okay.
deep. I go into these deep dives of former games that I've seen,
Yeah.
just to see, the context behind the
correctly.
numbers and stuff. So Joe Burrow had 42 dropbacks in the Super Bowl,
Mhm.
and he had 18 where he was under pressure. So I said, what did I say at first? 42.
42. 18 divided by 42.
So 18 divided by 42. He was pressured on 42.8% of his dropbacks.
he was in hell.
That's why, to me, I look at the game and I'm like, he ain't play that bad. Give that man an offensive line, he's winning the Super Bowl.
Yeah, it's a shame. Do we have any more super chats, or is that it?
I think that was it. We
Okay.
just had that one. Okay, Santos goes, Riv, I love you.
Fuck Santos.
He's been going crazy with these Riv Academy memes.
They're actually funny as shit.
They are. Listen, football. There's no football this week. Sadly.
Sadly.
Saturday?
I'm actually hurt.
Could we be expecting
I didn't even give an answer.
Cool.
Yeah, he's just
Saturday?
just glazing. What's Saturday? No football. That's
No
tough.
football this weekend, sadly.
Got my son this weekend. Can't guarantee
Tough
that.
weekend. Weekend after Super Bowl. Maybe the weekend after the Super Bowl.
Maybe. We'll be
It's
back.
like damn near March at that point.
So Purdy moved you for real?
I thought Purdy in the second half, that was a very impressive comeback. We were talking a lot about him being better than Jimmy Garoppolo, and I think he was throughout the season, but I feel like this game was like, this is the difference. Him scrambling, having those 50 or 60 rushing yards, that was the reason why they won the game. And the defense locking up.
I think he's at the very top of the system quarterback
I don't
tier.
disagree.
That's my objective opinion.
I don't disagree at all.
Let me look in my top quarterbacks. I haven't updated this yet. So Purdy is number 15. He's behind Kyler Murray, Aaron Rodgers, Jalen
Jalen
Hurts,
Hurts at 12 is disrespectful.
Dak Prescott, Kirk Cousins, Lawrence, C.J. Love, and whatever. So the ones behind him are Goff, Tua, Geno, Baker, Fields.
You have Fields over A-Rich.
For now, Richardson hasn't played much. That's why I have Caleb and Drake May 22 and 23. Yeah, but I think they're going to be great. So I just gave them that boost.
They are going to be great.
I mean, based on where I have Purdy on this list, I don't think it's like crazy.
Not fair. We've been saying top 15.
I think you're misconstruing what we're saying. That's why you keep bringing up this list.
No, I'm not misconstruing what you're saying.
You moved the goalposts. You did.
It is.
You
It's
like
true.
you did 100%.
It's true.
Because of why? I don't understand.
You tell me. Because why?
Well, we've said
What
it
you
10
what you
times.
what you
We were so
said
close to moving
what
on.
you said
That's
is
Rick's
that
fault.
I wish you would have been longer.
what you said,
It's not my fault.
Drew. What you said was how much more does he have to prove to you so he can be good? I do think he's good.
No, I don't know what that was about. You
Big win
said
for the Wolves.
What do you
They
mean?
needed
That's
this.
what he's done.
you've said you need to see him do it from when he's trailing. He's done it twice now. Now it's the teams he's played.
That's why I say
Yeah,
that.
It's like what you've seen it twice already. How many times you?
So
like,
let me ask you,
don't get lucky twice.
because it happened twice, everything before that is removed.
No, I wouldn't say remove, but you definitely
History's
should
repeating
have
itself.
more.
History's repeating itself.
You should have more confidence now than you
There's
did
another
against the
quarterback
Browns
that
in the
you
regular
trust.
season.
I do.
And then he went 1, 2,
That's all we
3.
asked for.
I do.
Game-winning
But
drives.
just because I have more confidence in him now, does that mean that I'm fully trusting him?
I mean, why do you care about a game in Week 6 as opposed to a playoff game?
It wasn't just against the Browns, bro.
Well, why do you care about 3 games in the regular season as opposed to 2 playoff?
I mean, it
games?
was the Vikings, it was the Bengals, it was the Browns, then it was the
Browns,
So
he had a
the Ravens-
comeback.
then it was the Ravens.
Wait, we're
won
not
that
counting
game.
the Browns
You guys did agree you're not going to count it.
Why not?
because they had
Missed
a
the field
game.
goal.
He missed a field goal. He did that. came.
Put him in
I mean,
position
he was
to
still
win.
he was
He did
still
put him in
bad though.
No, but we're talking
But
about
there was a
coming
position
trailing.
for him to win.
We're talking about
The
trailing.
last drive of the game, Ayuk had like 20 yards of yak to put them in that field goal position.
Didn't Ayuk or Debo say Yak is a part of a QB stat?
they
They
did.
should.
For sure, but
So
like
what are we doing?
when the play
you
is
know
a
what?
design screen and Ayuk is the one who takes it 20 yards, I mean that's not yak down the field.
We're just gonna agree to disagree.
No, because it's that Purdy leads the league on yards of the 49ers offense on throws at or behind the line of scrimmage average 9.8 yards per attempt.
Yeah, the
Which means
personnel's insane.
if I'm Brock Purdy and I check it down, I get a first down.
Congrats.
So you're telling me
Wish Lamar had
that
that.
yak is a quarterback stat?
I'm telling you what he said.
No, but no. What do you think though? What do you think?
I think it could be
Dehls,
both.
Is
Yeah,
that
I
is
don't know
that
more
yak
than
a,
an NFL player.
Dehls, is that yak a
You're
quarterback?
cooking.
Dak
The
is
guy who gets it on. It could be both. It's definitely a 70-30 thing.
a screen pass, bro.
70-30 thing.
A screen
you,
pass.
you didn't ask screen. You said
Hey, you
just
got to
Yak.
complete it.
You said just Yak.
No, I'm
gotta
saying
complete
I
the
just give you the
pass.
stat.
We saw
The
Lamar literally throw it over somebody with a screen pass.
I'm saying the 49ers this year, they averaged 9.8 yards per
yes.
attempt on throws at or behind the
Let
line.
me
of
ask you
And
a
I'm saying it's
question.
a 70-30
Joel, you
thing.
got to complete the pass, correct?
Yeah, but it's an objectively easy
But you
pass
gotta
that
pa-
any
but you gotta
quarterback can make.
But Lamar Jackson threw a nice sidearm pass to Zay Flowers that got batted and wasn't completed. It was a check down. It was
I'm
a
saying
screen.
70-30. You give the 30 to the QB because we don't know. It could be a screen. It could
On
be
throws
something
down the
else.
field, I think it's probably more of an even split. But like on a screen pass, bro, it's not 70-30.
Listen, you want to care about those games in the regular season? I don't really care. Like he did it against Detroit. He did it against.
So
Green
you're
Bay.
picking the Niners to beat the Chiefs.
I'm not answering that actually.
You got weeks. You got a week
Yeah,
at
yeah,
least.
I got time to
On
think.
Black History Month, you're picking Brock Purdy over Patrick Mahomes.
Why are you saying that?
Hey, Black History Month hasn't started yet.
Wait a minute. Why the
The
fuck
game
are
is in
you saying
February.
that?
In February.
I know.
Well, yeah.
Why are you saying that?
I'm looking out for the community. I'm picking Mahomes.
I'm looking out.
He's
for the
not
He's
even-
beating allegations. He's trying to beat allegations.
If you
He
were
is. He's
looking
doing
out
his
for the
best. I
community,
respect
you
that.
would have rooted for the Ravens, and you didn't. And you would have rooted for Detroit. You kind of did, but you really didn't, because those were the real hood communities. So stop.
This guy
So
has
you're
some gold
trying-
saying
yeah.
this
So
after
you're-
what
so
he
you're
did
trying to-
to Mike Tomlin on MLK Day.
So you're telling me that Mahomes is still a part of the community.
Crazy.
Huh?
Mahomes is still a part of the community.
I can tell you're not really invested in the community, because
Oh
if
my
you was
God.
really locked in the community, you didn't know the whole hood in the world, black community, was rooting for the Ravens.
Everyone
But now more of the community Chiefs over 49ers.
Didn't you
right?
don't
see
even
Martin
know.
Luther King reincarnated, came back to the Ravens game?
He's not tapped in. That's why I don't know why he said that.
Because you're rooting for Purdy over Mahomes.
I don't even know who I'm rooting for yet. No, I'm
You're
rooting for
going-
Purdy.
No, we're rooting
No, I'm
for.
rooting for Purdy, but I don't know who I'm
Listen,
picking.
you're going with the 49ers.
So
I know
save
to-
me.
a week and a half from now when we do our predictions, Rivers going to go 49ers.
Maybe,
It's an objective fact.
possibly,
Do you want him to do that?
I know he will.
maybe.
He went for the Dolphins out of spite. I know he's going to go with the
We
49ers.
just do the jinx. Just all pick the Chiefs.
Yeah, I mean, Spite be fun. It's for vibes. I'll do it again.
Happily jinx.
We
the
know where
Chiefs.
you're going.
I'm
Where
gonna go
are you
Niners.
going, Dels?
TBD.
This guy's trying to spoil it.
Yeah, we know where you're going for
You're
sure.
the only one we know for sure.
What-
I don't know.
What's
Actually, I
there
don't
to
know
what's
what
there to spoil? This is not the Krabby Patty recipe here. It's our pick for the Super Bowl.
Which we got a week
That
and a half
after
to decide.
after
There's
18
we got
weeks
2
of
weeks of
football
the
and
game.
We can
postseason
relax,
football,
wait, see who's
we
healthy.
understand.
Listen,
Omenihu just tore his ACL. You
Big
don't know.
loss.
There's injury
Big loss.
reports. There's things that we got to sit down and evaluate. We
So
gotta
you
sit
don't
down
so
and
you don't
watch
have
the
an early
film.
prediction. You have the chance to change it
This
from
brother
here
wants us
to
to
then.
pick
Nah, I really just
We're
got to
good.
sit.
And you don't even
resonate.
wanna
we want to
give
let
your
Brock
pick.
Purdy enjoy
It's
his
fine.
shit.
I want to
Drew's
savor
fun.
this. I want to
It's
savor
fine.
these games. Let it relish
That's
in
it.
my
That's all
mind.
it is.
Let
Like,
it
It's fine.
marinate.
If I feel like I'm one way or the other right now, I feel like that's
It could be
just-
on a Saturday. I want the Niners to win. Maybe the
It's a little
Chiefs win on
reactional.
Friday.
Exactly what
I
I'm
mean,
saying. Like,
yeah.
I'd rather sit, really let my thoughts resonate.
Watch
with
the all 22.
Exactly.
Let me-
Football's coming up.
Facts
weekend.
next week.
Skills challenge.
Exactly.
I'm excited for that.
Let me just
Might be the only person.
tell the audience. Rivers going for the Niners.
Possible.
Dehls is a wild card, but he's going to go with the Chiefs. That's what he's going to go with at the end of the day. If he doesn't, it's probably because he just doesn't want me to be right, whatever. Drew's early hunch was the Chiefs. He told me in the car, I'm airing you
I
out.
didn't say that.
Yes, he did.
I didn't say
He
that.
told me the
Damn.
early hunch was the Chiefs.
I didn't
so
say
if he
that.
switches it from now, it's because he hates Mahomes and he wants the Niners to win.
I will
Which he
say.
probably wants that
I'm
regardless.
saying live on air, I have not selected anyone to win yet.
But his feeling is going with the Chiefs.
I have thought processes that I am not fully 100% committed on. That's why I need to sit, really evaluate all my options.
I would say bet the house on me picking. The
How do you
Niners.
guys? I feel like on Twitter I've seen a lot of people saying this was one of the worst NFL seasons of all time. Do you guys agree with that?
I had fun.
I enjoyed it. CJ Stroud was a rookie and he put on a show. Puka Nakua was a rookie. He set
Outside
records.
the injuries, which happened
I
every
think
year.
maybe because it's like defense
A lot of
started to
quarterback
figure out
injuries.
offenses. I guess.
But overall, I thought it was a pretty
Here's
good
the
year.
thing. People are mad that they got something that was a little predictable. That's what they're upset about.
Yeah, people are upset, me included, about the Super Bowl.
We did miss
matchup.
a lot
We
of
wanted to see
QBs this
something
year.
new.
I would have loved to see Lamar Jackson in the Super Bowl. I really would have.
Amazing.
No hate.
No,
Strictly just Lamar Jackson.
Would have been
Good
dope to see
story.
Detroit in there too.
The
Would've
whole
been.
Black Hood would have loved to see it.
I'm not I don't really judge NFL seasons off of other NFL seasons. I thought it was a good season of football.
That's it.
Yeah, I thought it was good season football. There was a lot of quarterback injuries though, and I'm hoping for better health because it could have definitely shake things up. But
Rodgers stays healthy, man.
yeah, Rodgers stays
God,
healthy,
give it up.
but the Jets still had enormous problems on offense
Just say thank
outside
God,
of
'cause now
quarterback.
you have a great pick.
True. But 10th.
They'll fuck it up one way or another.
Kirk Cousins getting hurt sucked.
That was terrible.
But how many quarterback injuries actually changed the landscape of the NFL?
AR.
I was Anthony Richardson.
AR could have changed the landscape.
Did it
of
though?
of
'Cause
that
they
division
made-
at
they
least.
They were a game away from the playoffs.
Maybe they
That's
wouldn't
right.
be.
With A. Rich, they could have fucking.
They could have been 2
2
games
seed.
ahead,
Who
you know?
knows?
2 seed.
Yeah,
Calm
with-
the hell
It's
down.
Gardner Minshew. They won 9 games.
That's
or
true.
10.
Daniel Jones injury.
I don't think
Nah,
that
we're
was the
good.
time.
That was gutting, man.
For who?
Prayers.
Oh,
Kirk
yeah.
definitely
Okay.
changed things.
Kirk changed things because they were
He
rolling.
did.
They were
Yeah.
rolling.
It
Shit,
probably
maybe-
could have been them instead of the Packers in the playoffs.
Yeah, for sure.
That low key Herbert, maybe they were bad though.
Nah, they were garbage.
You want to talk about a game manager this
A-Rich.
season? Nothing wrong with it though.
Deshaun
No, we're good.
got better.
Got better. 100%.
Joe Burrow, of course, and Aaron Rodgers.
I actually got to where we needed to be.
The
Without
Burrow
Deshaun.
one is the one that mattered the most, I think.
I agree.
Burrow, Rodgers,
think Kirk- I think
one of
Kirk-
the three.
People's favorite Aura boy got injured, and that's what kind of got people dejected from the season. Sadly,
It's crazy, man. Roquan Smith, after Burrow got injured in the game, he said, that's what happens when you play the Ravens, and then they got the ass smacked.
is that
Respect.
did he say that or you
Respect.
made
Did you
that
get- I
up?
was-
No,
Did
he
you get
said
caught
that.
again?
He actually said that.
That's what you get when you play against the Ravens, a torn ACL.
No, I mean, Burrow broke his wrist.
I apologize.
I think that's a division game. I understand.
No,
that.
Roquan Smith said,
He did
it's
say-
football. That's what happens when you play the Ravens
I've got a
defense.
lot of respect for him the way he plays the game, but hey, injury is part of the game, so when you play that Ravens D, sometimes things
It's
like
not
that
a bad.
happen.
It's not-
I don't love it.
Oh,
That's a
not
terrible
great.
quote.
I don't
Not
love
great,
it.
Not great, not great.
Ah, yeah. I mean, it's Baltimore. They're gritty out there. Jetta's getting hurt ruined the greatest wide receiver season ever.
Yeah, he's still number 1.
I know, but him and Reek would have been going at it, man.
Tyreek fell off sadly. Breaks my heart.
CD's better.
Then
He's
who?
top 5.
Top 3.
Top 5.
4. Top 4.
Top 3. You can make an argument.
Top 4.
I'm
He's
not-
4. He's 4 right now.
Amon Ra top 5.
No,
So that
actually,
was-
that's fucking wrong as
we
shit.
can finally move
Why?
on to this
'Cause AJ's
Lions
better.
topic.
Thank God.
Is he?
The Lions blew a 24-7 first half
Fine a
lead.
fucking lead.
Why
We have 3 more topics.
did they collapse?
Short ones though. Self-inflicted wounds. I think a lot of people have been talking about Dan Campbell, his choices on third and fourth down, but I think it's really self-inflicted wounds, especially in that second half. You had multiple drops by Josh Reynolds, one on fourth down, which was a backbreaker. You had a flea flicker to Jamison Williams, which could have been a touchdown. He hesitated for a split second. If not, the ball would have been there.
Interfered
You
with
had-
too. Remember that?
Yeah, close. But when you have a flea flicker, there's a little, leeway there.
I'm with you.
You have the Jahmyr Gibbs fumble. You had multiple dropped interceptions by the defense. And like I said, almost all of these issues came in the second half. You're up 27-7, 24-7. This felt like the time for the Lions after years and years of not being able to get over the hump. You first time make the NFC Championship game. It was the first time you had a home playoff game in 30 years in rounds 1 and 2. And you just score one time on your final 5 possessions. Now, I know a lot's going to be made of Dan Campbell, but it's hard for me to pinpoint just one decision because their MO and their identity all season long, and since this Dan Campbell era started, has been being aggressive. And when you're playing the 49ers, you have to score points, right? They knew at some point, even in the first half when they were going for it, they knew at some point the 49ers were going to make a comeback. They knew they weren't going to leave the 49ers on 7 for the rest of the game. They knew that Shanahan and this offense was just too good, too explosive, had too many good players to not be able to score points. So I'm not really mad about going for it on those fourth downs. The one to Josh Reynolds, they've probably ran that play a million times between. You've probably seen it in that game too. The other incompletion to Amon-Ra St. Brown, the 49ers disguised it great. They brought Gibbs over in motion. It looked like they were playing man. They drop back and play zone. Goff gets a little confused. He rolls out to the right. Whenever you're getting Goff on the run, it's probably going to be a win for the defense. And Lions fans, I do feel bad for you because, like I said, this really felt like the year that you kind of got over everything. You finally make the playoffs. You finally get the home playoff win. You beat Matt Stafford, part of this process. When you just saw him win a Super Bowl, you kind of get over that hump too. You're up 24-7 going into halftime. I'm thinking in this first half, is this game about to be a blowout? Like the way the Lions were running the ball, how easy everything was coming in that first half. And unfortunately, you do blow it in the second half, and a lot of it were things in your control. Brock Purdy played great. The offense played great, but there was opportunities time and time again that you would be able to capitalize on, and this game could have gone differently. And I know a lot's going to be talked about their future, and I'll start with the positives. The team is super young, and Dan Campbell has obviously changed the culture of this organization.
Yep, most
you know,
definitely.
we could laugh about the kneecaps and biting at the legs and all of that stuff in the introductory press conference, but he backed it up. This is a hard-nosed, this is a gritty team. This is a tough team. The offensive line is one of the best in the NFL. Jared Goff, they've been able to rejuvenate his career. Amon-Ra St. Brown, the way they've been drafting, Brad Holmes has been fantastic. But losing Ben Johnson, which we're all expecting, I think could be catastrophic for this team. I think losing Ben Johnson could really be catastrophic. We talked about how the Kansas City Chiefs, Andy Reid got offense. He's not going anywhere. Spags got defense. He's not going anywhere until those guys retire. Ben Johnson is likely leaving. He's likely going to the Commanders, going to get paired up with Drake May. Losing Ben Johnson and starting over with a new offensive coordinator, whether it's going to be in-house or an external hire, I think you could see a pretty big drop-off from this Lions team. Looking at the NFC alone, or just looking at their division, the NFC North, you have Jordan Love breakout year, top 10 quarterback, Matt LaFleur in Coach of the Year conversations. That team is only young and just going to get better. Yep. You have Chicago getting the number 1 overall pick. That's likely going to be Caleb Williams. Kevin O'Connell and Brian Flores, I think that's a great head coach / defensive coordinator combination. Assuming they get Kirk back, they're going to be right in the mix.
For sure.
The NFC is going to be really tough. And, you know, let alone for the rest of the league, you have the Eagles with new offensive coordinator, new defensive coordinator. I think they're going to be better than this season as well. But it really feels like a missed opportunity for the Detroit Lions to go to the Super Bowl here. I'm sure there's been fans that have been watching this team for years and decades. You see it all over social media of grown men on the floor at the end of this game. And I get it. I'm a Jets fan. If I would have lost this way, who knows if I'm at this podcast right now. I'm probably still weeping and still trying to get over my depression. But I do think the one saving grace you have is that your GM and head coach seem to have it figured out. Your GM, the fact that you can build through the draft this effectively, getting all pros in the first, second, third, fourth, fifth round, constantly being able to get an influx of talent into this team, and Dan Campbell understanding what it is in the NFL. You know, he is the reason Ben Johnson is here. Aaron Glenn, although there were some deficiencies on the defensive side of the ball, overall, it was a decent defense, at least at stopping the run. They were one of the best in the NFL. There are some things to clean up there. But losing Ben Johnson, we know this game is offensive-oriented. It's quarterback-oriented. The fact that he's gonna move on, I've seen it on Twitter. It's very much shades of Nick Sirianni losing Shane Steichen. It's shades of Dan Quinn losing Kyle Shanahan. All of these defensive-minded / CEO-type head coaches losing their top offensive coordinator, and you don't see that team getting back to the mountaintops yet again. Look at this Eagles team who looked like a juggernaut at the end of last season. Even entering the season, they're 11-0. It looks like nobody can beat them. They're just going to go right back to the Super Bowl. And you saw down the second half of the year how the offense just fell apart, let alone the defense had its own issues. I think there's some personnel issues there, but how the offense just fell apart. And, you know, I think talent-wise, give me Jalen Hurts over Jared Goff, and it's not that close.
Oh, yeah.
So I do feel bad for Lions fans, and I hope I'm wrong because, you know, the fan base is obviously very passionate about their team. They've been through some rough times. But it's going to be hard to replace that guy, OC. I think he's going to go to Washington and do some really good things with the Commanders.
You know, this is definitely a tough moment for Detroit Lions fans. But you know what? There's some good in the bad as well. You win your first playoff game for the first time in over 30 years. You beat the quarterback. That was your franchise quarterback for over 10 seasons who wasn't able to accomplish this with the quarterback that you ended up trading for in Jared Goff. You go and you make it to the NFC Championship game. The last time you actually won a playoff game was the last time you went to the NFC Championship. It sucks that you blew a 17-point lead. I look at this game, and there's part of me that blames coaching. There's part of me that blames some of the execution on the players. Jahmyr Gibbs on the first touch of that drive. Fumbles, of course. That happening after a pretty fortunate catch by Brandon Ayuk that led to a touchdown. It was just the momentum completely shifted over to the San Francisco 49ers. But I look at coaching at the same time, and I think, hey, there's being aggressive, and I love that you lived by this philosophy all season long. You were the most aggressive when it came to fourth down. You led the league in fourth down attempts. There's moments where you got to reel it back in. I was okay with not going for it before the half. I was okay with it going when you're the first go round in the second half when you're up 14 because you're trying to put the nail in the coffin. And Josh Reynolds drops it, of course. I completely disagree with it when you're down 3 and you're in field goal range. Kick the 3 because that ended up being the deciding factor anyways. Of course, Pandora's box, you don't know. You open it, something different could be happening. But yes, the Niners do go on a touchdown drive, but that's also because they got decent field positioning after the missed fourth down. You kick the field goal. It's a tie game. Now there's pressure on the Niners to at least get into field goal range or to score a touchdown to now go ahead and give themselves the lead. And then you probably have another opportunity to score either which way. But by going for it, you were over-aggressive. Now the Niners, who have been hot on offense, been able to go down the field, score a touchdown, and now you're down 10. And now the game's essentially over. To me, that's where I kind of have to be harsh on Dan Campbell because all season long, there have been very few guys that have gotten the most out of their team. Dan Campbell has been one of the most inspirational. Just watching it, you see his passion, you see his love for the game, and it translates to the players. I look at their future situation, and I still believe there's time. Going into this offseason, they have the 7th most cap available. And in terms of free agents, the one that I look at would be the one that kind of stings the most. I look at C.J. Gardner-Johnson, although for a majority of the season he wasn't able to play with them. I just say C.J. because they need help in the secondary most definitely. But not that there's great free agent D-backs available. Jalen Johnson most likely gets brought back by the Bears. He is available. You look at the Christian Wilkins adding some interior presence for the fact that they do have money, and I don't believe Christian Wilkins will be going back to Miami. Matabuke is available. Brian Burns, who I'm not sure what the Panthers decide to do with him. They should bring him back because Brian Burns is a really good player. But again, there are defensive players available. I look at the defense for the Lions and think that's one of the main reasons why this team wasn't able to close the deal yesterday. So there is optimism. Losing Ben Johnson is going to suck. It's inevitable. I hope that he stays, but being realistic, he's probably going to be the Commanders head coach. I still believe in the talent of this offense. You have arguably the best running back duo in the league. David Montgomery is great in his own right. Everyone's excited with the new toy in Jahmyr Gibbs, but David Montgomery's a damn good back. Jameson Williams, God willing, has a full season of being healthy. You saw what he could show in this game alone. 2 touchdowns, had a touchdown to start out the gates, had a big catch after the drive where they don't convert on fourth down. I would have loved to see him come down with that flea flicker. Definitely a tough play to make. I do believe he was interfered with, but of course, Amon-Ra St. Brown, one of the best receivers in the game. Sam Laporta, one of the best tight ends in the game. Forget about being the best rookie tight end. He's one of the best tight ends, period. You have such a great offensive line. Graham Glasnow also is going to be a free agent. That's one to monitor also. But there are still things to be excited about with this Detroit Lions team. They're going to be keeping a majority of the foundation of this squad. A lot of their great players are young. I do look at that 2025 free agency where Jared Goff is up for a contract. That's going to be an interesting conversation at that time. But going into next season, the Lions still have money to make some additions to this roster to improve. The concern is Ben Johnson because you understand he's one of the best offensive minds in the game. But there's a slight chance that he comes back to Detroit. But being unbiased, I do believe that this team really has the potential to still be good next season. It's not like all hope's lost just because they're losing Ben Johnson.
Yeah, they were. You know how they were talking about giving Jared Goff an extension, and I think he's earned a slight one, not too crazy, and I think they're in a position where they can't get a younger quarterback at this point.
Unless they're into Hendon Hooker.
Yeah, unless he's 26 or 25. He's a little hefty in the age department. But
that's all right.
Talk about the game. Dehls, you made a great point. Self-inflicting wounds. David Montgomery fumble. multiple.
Jahmyr Gibbs.
Sorry, pardon me. Jahmyr Gibbs fumble. Multiple fourth down failures. And I thought some of them were good. I thought the last one where they could have got the 3 points that would have, had them tied at that point, that one was a rough one. But Campbell has learned that he's going to live and die by his philosophy.
Sure.
And I respect that. You go out the way you came in. And he did that. He went out, he trusted his offense. And once again, a couple Josh Reynolds drops makes this game a little bit better than what it looks like, but they hurt themselves in the second half. They hurt themselves big. They went up big in the first half. You saw how electric it was to start the game. Jammo with the big TD. He's actually pretty good. I don't know what Jamal be talking about, but he's actually, I like Jammo.
From horrible to hey.
Not bad
From horrible to hey.
Yeah, but I think he's all
About
right.
damn time.
Yeah, I think he's all right for sure. But Detroit just they shot themselves in the foot multiple times in that second half. And as Niners were gaining momentum, gaining some hype, the Lions just couldn't recover from it. And I think, you guys talked a lot about their future and what they could do next year. You mentioned the cap. I think Detroit's in a great position. I think Detroit winning those back-to-back, games at home against Tampa Bay, against the Rams. That was huge for the city. A city who has to watch the Pistons on other nights.
My God.
They managed to squeeze out
And
some
the Tigers. Can't forget about that.
Don't
They
watch
gotta
baseball.
Watch the
So
Tigers.
not too worried
Not
about
good.
that. Yeah. Well, it ain't worse than Detroit. I can tell you that much.
Yeah, it's bad. The Lions are their saving grace.
For sure. And, Jared Goff, he's leveling up. He's improving, getting to that age where he's still improving as a football player. You got Amon-Ra. You got Laporta, like you mentioned. You still got a really good offensive line. I would like them to pick up some more pieces, maybe another receiver, and keep building this defense. But the Lions, just like how we said with Green Bay, they were playing with house money. I think in this game specifically, they didn't come in as the favorites. The Niners were dubbed the team of the NFC, the team that was supposed to make the Super Bowl. So the Lions were big underdogs in this game. Just from a viewership perspective, people didn't believe in this team outside of Detroit and a couple fans who just wanted to see them do good. People just were dubbing the Niners. And to come out like that is strong, but you got to finish the job. You got to come out in the first half, make adjustments in the second half, and finish out the game strong. And the Lions shot themselves in the foot too many times.
I go back to what Dan Campbell said about the team and about how they're going to get back to this position. It's going to be twice as hard, and I think that's an objective fact.
Agreed.
I don't want to say that this year was kind of a gimme for them division-wise, but it was. I mean, the Packers were the youngest offense in NFL history. Many people did not have any expectations for the Packers. They thought Jordan Love would be bad. Mm-hmm. They thought Matt LaFleur was an Aaron Rodgers merchant. They really didn't think this was a playoff football team. And they managed to make the playoffs, and they're only getting better because they're a very young team. The Vikings lost Kirk Cousins when they were going on a win streak. And now they have another year to not only bring back Kirk, but build on a defense that was top 10 with little to no talent. Similar talent to what they had last year, and they were one of the worst defenses in the league.
For sure.
And Brian Flores is in this weird mix right now of a coach that should be a head coach, but he might be getting blackballed from that position because of how it ended in Miami and also the grievance that he filed against the NFL. He's not
Deservedly so.
He's not in the best standing with NFL owners, so who knows when he's going to get a head coaching job. Then you look at the Bears. They're going to get Caleb Williams or Drake May. They're going to have the first overall pick. The coaching that they have still kind of scares me a bit. I think Shane Waldron is definitely an upgrade over Luke Getsy.
I love that hire.
Eberflus did a pretty decent job this season, though.
But you can count on their defense to be better.
For sure.
You can count on the offense to take a leap
Should.
because they should get a better quarterback now this time around. And each time they faced the Lions last year, it was very close. So we're talking about a Lions team that now in their division, they faced the Packers, who they split with. They faced the Vikings, who they swept, but one time was without Kirk Cousins. And then they face the Bears, who they split with.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be a much tougher division. They're going to have a first-place schedule. Now teams know what to expect when it comes to the Lions, and this team is getting less talented. You did great at drafting young players, but losing C.J. Gardner-Johnson, who knows if he comes back or not, that's huge.
Yep.
Jonah Jackson's a free agent. Ben Johnson is by far the biggest loss if they lose him.
That is a tough one.
I think the Lions will still be a competitive team because I think they've drafted so well, and I trust Brad Holmes to continue drafting well. But the truth is that when you have an opportunity to go to the Super Bowl and you don't take advantage, that might be your only opportunity. Mm-hmm. Last year, we looked at the Eagles roster as a juggernaut, as a team that should be back in this position again, and things went off the rails for them in a way that we did not expect. And now we're wondering if Hurts can get back to playing at an MVP level.
You know why he can? Do you know why?
Why? They got
Kellen
Kellen
Moore.
Moore, MVP Herbert.
The
So-
best of both worlds, Joel. You're happy about that?
So it's going to be much tougher for Detroit. And the Jared Goff extension doesn't make it easier. Riv, you saying that Goff might get a friendly deal or something like that, I think Goff is going to break the bank. I mean, you look.
meant, like in terms of the years.
Yeah, but
I
like
don't think he's gonna get a long.
you look at what he's done in Detroit. Last
Great.
2 seasons, 29-7, 99 passer rating, 30-12, 98 passer rating. He has the leverage in your culture and franchise did not turn around until I got here.
I won a playoff game, not Matt Stafford.
If Jared Goff is requesting a contract, he's getting $45 million. I think that's a minimum, actually.
Yeah,
I think
Daniel Jones ruined
Yeah.
contracts
If
forever.
Daniel Jones is getting $40 million, Jared
Correct.
Goff might ask for $100 million a year. I mean, he's twice the quarterback he is. So he's gonna break the bank with that contract, and now it becomes much harder to build a roster around him.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that is the burning question with them. But I think they could be back in this position. You know, I like the way Dan Campbell has built up this team. After thinking about it, I'm fine with the 4th down calls. I would have taken the points too.
All of them?
The last one, no, I would have taken the points. But you live by the sword, you die by the sword. This has been Dan Campbell all year long. This is what we loved about Dan Campbell all year long. So now that he's doing it at the biggest stage, now it's easy to nitpick what he's doing.
I think
What? Go ahead, bud. Go
I
ahead.
think the biggest mistake that Dan Campbell made was calling a timeout when under the 2-minute warning.
100. I was just about to say the same thing. Once you're in field goal range, kick the field goal. You have 3 timeouts. Get a stop. That's it. You get the ball back, potentially drive down the field.
Don't
I'm
run
with
it,
you.
just pass it.
That was dumb.
Or even if you could run it, that's fine, but don't call a
Score.
timeout.
Yeah.
Just hurry up. Go.
Yep.
It is tough because it's easy to convince yourself, and not saying Lions fans are doing this, but it's easy to convince yourself when you have such a successful season that's like, oh, we'll just be back here next year, the year after. And I was just trying to think of some teams in the last like decade plus that I think people were thinking that of and just didn't happen. You have the
Seattle.
Jets, 2011, when you have that world of class defense that unfortunately fell apart.
We
as
did
well
go
as
back to
Sanchez.
back.
We did. I'm saying after 2011, haven't got a playoff
Okay.
win since.
Back to back.
The Colts with Andrew Luck in 2015, of course, Andrew Luck retiring is going to be different. The Steelers in 2017 when they had the killer bees out there. The Falcons with Matt Ryan's MVP season, Kyle Shanahan leaving. The Panthers with Cam Newton, his MVP season. You have to take advantage of these opportunities, especially when you don't have really 2 things. 1, an elite quarterback, which I think Jared Goff is good. I don't think he's elite. And 2, an elite coordinator, which Ben Johnson is, but you're probably losing him. You know, those teams that we see get there time and time again, Chiefs have Mahomes, 49ers have Kyle Shanahan. That's really what you need in this league. You know, the final 4 teams, 3 of them are offensive-minded head coaches, and then the other one had Lamar Jackson. It's tough.
I have this week in the NFL. I don't know if you wanted to add anything, Riff.
No, I have it this week in the NBA and NFL.
What's your this week in the NFL?
So,
So
Dehls, you
close to your
mentioned.
mic.
Sorry, no, I was coming back. Dehls, you mentioned it. We did hire a new OC, Kellen Moore.
We're here.
From what I'm told, he's really good. This was
You ask. Depends who you ask. I like him.
This was Sirianni said in so apparently Kellen Moore is bringing in his own thing, his own offense, his own ideas. Sirianni would not be working with the offense, and this is what he said.
Hurts under center.
This is what he said in the post game or whatever it was. He said, "We're bringing in a guy to bring in new ideas to do the things that he's done in the past." He said Wednesday, "It'd be crazy not to add some of the things that we've done in the past here as well. Working on getting the best guy in here for the job and a guy who has a vision, a guy who's going to call the plays, a bunch of bullshit. Basically, we got a new OC, and I'm semi-happy because
Get Jalen Hurts healthy, too.
he's had a top 6 offense with the Cowboys in a couple seasons.
Yeah,
So 3 seasons, top 6 offensive ranking in 4 years in Dallas. So I'm excited. I hope get Hurts healthy and, of course, get him back. But one thing I really want is I want Smitty to be used correctly. Because if Smitty is used correctly and then A.J. Brown's cooking, now you really got a top duo in the league. I feel like Smitty's been used not the best of his ability. Yeah, and I feel like even him not being used well, he still puts up some pretty solid numbers. So I think this can only open up his game more. So I'm hopeful for that. But shout out to Kellen Moore.
I got a short one for this week in the NFL. Because this surprised me. Do you guys know how many active quarterbacks have won a Super Bowl?
4.
2.
Okay, well, I can name a couple. Okay, Mahomes, Rodgers,
Matthew
Stafford.
Stafford, Russell Wilson.
Russell, for sure.
Mid.
active.
Is Nick Foles active?
No.
Is Joe Flacco active?
Yes.
Yes.
Joe Flacco's
Nice. Well done.
What are you guys at?
5.
Yeah, that's 5.
Rare 5.
it?
Nice.
I was
So
shocked
it's only
to find
5.
that it was only 5 quarterbacks.
goats retired.
One of them shouldn't be here. It's Flacco. He should have been home.
The GOAT's retired.
Damn.
But still
That's crazy.
So
Well,
really
if-
4.
If
Yeah.
Devontae Smith is used correctly, maybe he can get more yards than Terry McLaurin next year.
He already did it 2 years in a row.
Oh, that's easy. That's
It's about 2024, my friend.
I'm just saying.
Brother,
Get McLaurin a good quarterback.
He's already done it.
I'll be
Get
honest,
McLaurin a good
that's, we're
quarterback.
not. That's the low bar. We're trying to get to the bigger heights. We're
It's
not.
gonna be hard to
Ayuk
put up,
level?
like, 14
Yeah,
on
we're trying to
AJ
get there. We're trying to get
Uh-huh.
to the top 8, top 10.
McLaurin in 2022, 1,191
Does
yards.
Carson Wentz count?
As a good quarterback,
No.
He's not in the
No.
league.
He is on the Rams.
Oh shit.
I don't know if he
he didn't start.
One-
He doesn't count.
He was on the
He
roster.
does not count.
because this
He was hurt.
fucking who was Mahomes? Was it Henny last year? Who was the backup?
Ah,
Does
but
he
that's
count?
different.
Like,
In
I think it's the
2024,
Super Bowl
no, in 2022, Smitty had 5 more receiving yards than Terry McLaurin.
Uh-huh.
How many touchdowns Terry had?
Devontae had 7. Terry had 5.
Yeah, we win.
I'm looking at the games played. Devontae played
What's the
all
game,
17.
Yes.
If McLaurin missed one, please just miss one game so I can win.
You won't win.
He missed. He played all 17.
Yeah, I know.
Damn, McLaurin's
Not
he's played
good.
all 17 for 3 years straight.
He's a warrior.
McLaurin's not good. What are you talking about?
Not good was a little stretch, but
Terry is
Smitty has
comfortably like the 15th best receiver in the league for sure.
comfortably 15. I think I named 15 better.
Maybe okay.
I think he might be like 20.
Name the 15 receivers better than Terry McLaurin.
All right, you know what? You say it this week, and I'm gonna pull up the standings.
All right, my this week in the NFL is a would you rather. Drew gave me this idea. I don't know if you had the would you rather.
That's fine.
Okay, so is would you rather Lamar Jackson edition? First name up, Jalen Hurts.
I would take Lamar.
I'm flip flopping. I'm going Lamar.
You really did flip flop.
I don't give a shit. I'll go back and forth my whole life.
I'm going Lamar Jackson.
I'm going to take Jalen Hurts.
He's standing on business.
Joe Burrow.
Lamar
Lamar.
Jackson.
I am telling you guys that I'm going to start showing this man some more respect.
Wow.
I'm
Love that for you.
going to go with Joe Burrow.
I'm going with Joe Burrow too.
I said Lamar.
So Joe Burrow over Jalen Hurts, or is it still Hurts over Burrow?
He might have Hurts still like 3.
That's not the topic at hand.
So next name up, I'm doing this off the fly, just off the dome. Dak Prescott.
Lamar
very
Jackson, it's
comfortably.
not even close.
I'm going with Lamar Jackson too. Justin Herbert.
I'm going Lamar.
I'm going Lamar too. Or I'm ready for Herbert to have a breakout year, win a couple playoff games next season.
This
and get
is
the
when
respect.
I get called every name in the book, every disgusting name in the book. I think that Justin Herbert's more talented than Lamar Jackson.
Nothing wrong with that.
Justin Herbert, I've seen a tweet that he's undefeated in hypothetical situations.
He really is.
I think he will have a great season with Jim Harbaugh. Until I see it, I'm going with Lamar Jackson. Two-time MVP,
That's
deserves that
hilarious.
respect.
Stay ahead of the curb, kid.
I went Burrow over Lamar because of the playoff wins and because of the playoff performances, but I'm going to go with Lamar over Justin Herbert.
MVP. Why don't you show some respect, you idiot?
Yeah, they're gonna cook you. for
I'm
sure.
ready for it, but I stand on 10 toes.
CJ Stroud.
Lamar
Lamar
Jackson.
I'm going with Lamar Jackson too.
CJ Stroud has the upside of an unbelievable passer. He just needs to refine himself.
I could be ahead of the curve here. No, I'll go Lamar.
Josh Allen.
Josh Allen.
Again, Josh Allen.
Josh Allen.
I honestly think it's 1-2 gap.
I'm going with Josh Allen as well.
I also do think that.
1-2 gap.
I'm looking at other
Bro
names
didn't
here.
have a list.
I didn't. This is I
He
told
said
you
he
shit
did.
off the dome.
Yeah.
Brock Purdy.
Come on, bro. Lamar Jackson.
Let's not
I'm not
insult.
answering
Let's
that.
not insult Lamar.
Funny. You're too.
I mean, one got me the
What
Super Bowl.
about your guy?
Who's my guy?
You know your guy.
Jordan Love.
Oh, Jordan Love. I'm going Lamar Jackson still.
Lamar
Okay.
Jackson.
I'm going Lamar too.
It's got to be Lamar.
I don't know. You've been getting very, very high on Jordan Love. Want to see? What
Jordan
he's
Love's a top 10 quarterback, like right now.
I agree.
But
9 or 10.
Lamar Jackson still deserves that respect over him. And this is the last name we'll go with, Trevor Lawrence.
Oh, Lamar.
Lamar
easy.
Lamar
Jackson.
Jackson.
I'm going with Lamar Jackson too. Actually, this is actually the real last name I'm going to go with. Matthew Stafford.
I'm going Lamar still.
I'll go Lamar. That's tough though. I like Stafford.
I'm going with Lamar Jackson too.
He just needs one run, Matt.
Stafford's tough. Though.
My
I
God.
would stick with Lamar though.
Stafford's underrated.
Get Lamar, Sean McVay.
I also
Cooper
have the
Kupp.
teams ready, so I'm really ready to like rip Terry right now. I'm ready to rip Terry.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I might have like 20.
You could go Rip Terry.
So you're not answering Stafford and Lamar.
God, I was really hoping to skate. I'll go Lamar Jackson.
Okay, I'm gonna make this consensus at the table. I feel like that's fair. All
So
right?
please
Here we go.
let
Buffalo.
please let everybody know what you're saying,
Right.
say it emphatically, and name the teams and name the receivers you think is
Yes,
better.
sir.
There are not 15 players. Terry McLaurin.
I think we can get. So we're doing a would you rather technically about Terry, scary Terry out of Washington. I think there's 20 guys better than him on this list. I think we can get to 20. So we'll start in Buffalo. Stephon Diggs. Okay, we'll head over to Miami. Waddle and Tyreek Hill.
I agree.
I'd go Tyreek Hill. I wouldn't go Jalen Waddle.
You're gonna let one season
We're not
of
gonna
him
argue.
being injured.
We're not gonna argue.
Terry McLaurin has been putting up 1,000 yards
Keep
receiving
count.
with battle.
He put up
quarterback
1,000 yards this season
didn't take
too, and you don't
Waddle.
even think Tua is
We'll do
good.
consensus.
So not
but he's better than
consensus.
Sam
Okay,
Howell.
So we'll keep Waddle in the maybe box.
What do
You
you think
think
Waddle's
Waddle's
better? Or you
maybe?
think
I would have Waddle over.
it's
Terry.
close though?
We're not here for
Is
the
it a clear
closest.
cut?
It's close.
We're not here for the closest.
We got to say clearings. Like
Yeah, but that's why
clears.
I'm only
Okay,
only
yes,
two.
I'm saying. So we're doing
Tyreek
two.
and
We're
Stephon.
heading over to New Jersey. Garrett Wilson.
I would take Garrett.
I'm taking
Yeah,
it.
Garrett
Okay,
Wilson.
so that's 3. So New England, we can just move on.
Yep.
Houston, Nico Collins.
Nico.
Wow.
I would go Nico.
Nico.
It has to be consensus at the
Nico
table.
Collins.
And don't be cheating.
Stop
You're the
it.
type to cheat, bro.
Joel.
Don't do that.
Joel. It's Nico.
I'll give y'all Nico, but
Okay.
Terry
Thank you.
McLaurin deserves respect.
Okay.
Bro.
Are we going to take Dell? I'm just going to add him just because.
Just take him. Take him. You can take him.
Tank
Tank
Dell.
Oh no, not Tank Dell. Hell no.
That's what
Hell
I
no.
say Nico, yeah.
No, Nico, y'all got.
So me into it.
So we're five?
No. Four.
4. Okay, now we're heading over to the Colts. Michael Pittman.
Yes.
I'll take Pittman.
I'm taking Terry over Pittman.
All right, so now consensus. Throw him in the maybe. Throw him in the maybe.
How is that good? What do you, Terry McLaurin has awful quarterback play.
Even Gardner Minshew.
What quarterback is Pittman have?
Gardner Minshew is objectively much better than Sam Howell. I just want y'all to know
Matt
that.
That's not really a
last year.
bar. Okay, maybe.
No. It's not a maybe.
We're throwing him in the maybe. I said consensus.
Because we're not counting Waddle, so we're taking Pittman from him.
Yeah, so no, we're throwing him in the maybe. So
No,
Alright, whatever.
we didn't get Waddle. I'm taking Pittman. Agreed.
Keep going.
What number? 5?
With Pittman 5.
All right, so we getting Pittman?
Yeah, I'll give y'all Pittman.
Thank you.
Calvin Ridley?
No,
No.
Christian Kirk?
no.
No, bro. Stop.
I have to think. Let me think. No.
It's 3, so it's
All right,
gone.
that's cool.
It's
DeAndre-
crazy because if you would have asked Drew this
Yes.
question if he was on Arizona, he wouldn't even hesitate.
I agree.
He would.
You're right.
Titans, DeAndre Hopkins.
Yes.
Right now, no. McLaurin's better.
Okay. You said no? Okay. Baltimore.
close, it's close.
Listen,
I don't know.
I'm going to be honest. Zay Flowers.
It's close.
It's
It's
close.
close.
Zay Flowers is awesome, but Terry McLaurin's better.
Okay,
Like if
okay.
Terry McLaurin went to Baltimore, he'd be their best receiver.
It's close.
Okay.
That is close.
Amari Cooper.
I would
I'll
take
take Cooper.
Amari.
All right,
Mhm.
so
6.
6. George Pickens.
No.
Joe.
You could fucking argue.
Pickens was ooped his ass.
Well, so
off
we'll
this
throw that in the
year.
maybe, though. We'll throw that in the maybe.
Yeah.
Jamar Chase, obviously, you
7.
add him to the list.
T. Higgins. That's close.
That's a close one.
What we doing?
I like
Gotta be
T.
consensus.
I'm a T guy. I would go
I
T.
count about 3 maybe.
I don't feel like it's
It's not
enough of a
clearing.
clearing
It's not-
to
okay,
add
yeah.
him.
Okay, so we'll leave him off. I like clearance. I don't want
Uh-huh.
Kansas City, bye. Denver, bye.
Rasheed Rice.
Tay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You
Okay.
gonna pretend like
That's
Cortland's
it.
son was a number 2 in touchdowns?
Solid.
I'm so good off that.
McLaurin is better than Son and Rasheed.
Keenan Allen.
Yes.
I gotta ask you because I know how you get with Keenan, bro.
Whatever. Just add him.
Mike Will?
9.
Mike Will?
No.
No.
Oh my God. The
Mike was great.
disrespect.
Mike was great. I don't agree with Mike. I don't
Mike
agree with
Will
Mike.
2 seasons ago was OD.
All right, that's the whole AFC. That's 9 in the AFC.
9.
It's getting spooky for your boy.
Hold on,
Dallas.
hold on.
Bless you.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're gonna sneeze right
Look
in
at the light.
Are you gonna come?
I'm about to sneeze. I just can't
Oh,
right
me?
now. All right, keep going. I'm
Oh,
good.
I'm sorry. CD Lamb. Yeah.
Most definitely.
Yeah.
So we're moving to Philly. AJ.
11.
Yes.
You already
Smitty.
said Smitty was a maybe, so I'm gonna keep him in the maybe.
Smitty's really a maybe.
So how much do we have? 11?
11.
Okay.
You're
cool.
not.
You're
looking
not gonna
good.
give
You're not
Smitty?
looking good.
You're not giving Smith?
We don't need him.
I think I would take Smitty.
Mike Evans.
12.
Yeah.
Chris
Chris
Godwin.
Godwin.
Yes.
You're not. It's
That's not a
Smitty and
clearing.
Godwin.
It's
Bro,
not a clearing.
It's not.
a
It's
clearing.
not. It's
a
not.
clearing.
It's not.
Bro, can we
Y'all
respect
forget
Terry
who Chris
McLaurin?
Godwin
It's
is.
not. No, it's not a
I
clear.
wish he
Y'all
showed me.
forget-
Chris Godwin.
What?
Bro,
not a clear.
He closed the season amazing.
Bro,
No,
Chris
it's just
Godwin
a-
is
just a-
great.
it's-
Baker
it's not a
Mayfield,
clear.
Tom Brady, those have been quarterbacks. That's better than anything Terry McLaurin has
Right.
had.
I don't think Godwin's a
McLaurin
clear.
has trash
And he had
quarterbacks.
Jameis. Don't forget that.
I don't think Godwin is a clear, and we're gonna throw him in the maybe
Derek
box.
Lively
It's
can't
gonna get
figure
really
safe play.
spooky because now we're getting to Chris Olave.
I'm going Olave.
I'll take Olave.
That's close.
I
That's
don't think
very
it's a clear
close.
neither. I
No.
do think Olave's
Okay,
better.
so we're
No.
at 13 clear.
I like McLaurin better.
We're at 13
I
clear.
guess we're at 12 without Olave.
Okay, so
What
12
the
clear.
fuck?
That's fine. That's fine. That's fine. Detroit, Amon
Ra.
Ra.
Amon Ra.
Okay.
13.
Before you go, I'll go Amon Ra. So by the way, it's 13, right?
Yeah, we're at
we have
13
13. Chris Godwin with
He's
Tom
not
Brady
gonna go this.
in 2021, 1,103 yards receiving. In 2022, 1,023.
Bro, you're not gonna get it.
In 2020, 840
We didn't count
yards.
Godwin.
I know. I'm just saying. Like McLaurin is
No,
putting
Drew-
up
Drew,
similar
Dehls.
numbers with trash
I
quarterbacks.
know.
No, he's not gonna get it. I'm just gonna ask anybody in Green Bay.
No.
And it was like, okay,
No.
it's gonna get bad.
Justin Jefferson.
DJ Moore, Justin Jefferson.
14, 15.
Stop right now.
Jordan Addison or Scary Terry?
That's a conversation.
Terry McLaurin.
It's a conversation, but
McLaurin.
it's not clear.
You're
It's not clear.
smiling.
Can we respect
It's not
McLaurin?
clear. It's
Oh
not
my
clear.
God.
When it gets dark, Debo Samuel.
Yes.
Debo.
Brandon Ayuk.
You're
yes.
cooked.
Brandon
Brandon
Ayuk. Yeah.
17.
Debo Samuel.
Brandon Ayuk. Puka Nacua.
18.
I'll go with Debo
Cooper
too.
Kupp.
19.
Yes.
And then DK Metcalf.
Yep.
No, that's close. That's
Tyler
really, that's
Lockett.
close though.
No.
I would
Okay.
take yeah.
And then the final team, Arizona. So Hollywood.
20.
Damn.
And that was 5 maybes.
That was
That's
a-
what 5
a
maybes.
lot of Mickey Mouse, maybe.
You know, I'll just let you guys know this right now. A lot of those names,
Oh God.
the receiver position changes year to year a
agree.
lot. Puka Nacua, nobody knew where he came from,
Yeah.
and he had an exceptional
Oh, so
season.
there's probably gonna be someone in this draft that's gonna go ahead of Scary Terry. Is that what you're saying?
Someone.
No,
maybe
no,
3
no.
or 4.
Cooper Kupp
Yeah, Marvin
dropped
I'm-
off
Marvin,
a lot.
add him. Add Marvin. 21.
Low-key Malik.
If we
Malik
can add,
Neighbors
if he
might be
added
better
Caleb
too,
and
bro.
Drake, we can add Marvin.
Oh
21.
shit!
Neighbors, what we doing?
No, I'd
Not
have
yet.
Neighbors.
Relax.
What you mean not
Oh
yet?
my God!
I know you love
added
Bro.
Drake
Oh
on
my
your
God,
quarterback
bro.
list.
Yo, oh my
You
God!
added
Can we
Drake on your
respect
quarterback
Terry
list, bro. I
McLaurin?
can add Marvin Harris. Just
Over
Marvin.
Terry? No, Marvin Harris is
Just
over
Marvin.
Terry.
That's it. Okay,
Fine, I'll
that's
give
it.
you that.
I'll take
not
Neighbors up. Just
Malik
Marvin.
Malik
All right,
What
Neighbors.
about what about Rome? I know you love
Not
yourself
over
some
Terry
Rome.
McLaurin.
Marvin
I'm gonna
Harris
let
is
y'all
clear.
know
He's
this.
clear.
I'm gonna let y'all know this right now.
Marvin top 15 day one.
If Ben Johnson goes to the Commanders and they're gonna draft a quarterback at 2, the season Amon Ra just put up, McLaurin could be similar. McLaurin could be an
What
all-pro
Amon Ra just put
receiver.
up?
A lot, bro. It was a nasty, like a lot, bro. I think he
Just
put up
top
like
3 in
1,600.
yards.
He might have put up 16.
McLaurin can,
Amon-Ra had 119 catches, 1,500 yards, and 10 touchdowns.
McLaurin can have an all-pro season. He can.
Do you know what you just
He's
did?
that good.
Do you know what you just did? And you don't even fucking realize it.
What?
You just disrespected the fuck out of Amon Ra.
Sex God.
Why?
Some guy. Oh, sex god.
How did
I
I
fuck with that one. Sex gods.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
It's even funnier because it was an accident.
Sex god.
My fault.
Oh my god.
Bro, Terry had 1,002 yards.
He's had
That's
1,000.
mid as
I'll give
fuck,
Terry
bro.
one thing. He is consistent.
He gonna get
He
his
gonna get that
1,000.
one.
He gonna get his
He gonna get that
1,000.
one.
He'll get his
He gonna
K.
get his 1,000.
It just boggles my mind.
Wait, he had 132 targets.
But why are we laughing
Like
at this
as a
guy?
rookie, like,
why
he's
are
been
we
like
laughing
that.
at this guy?
I'm not laughing.
He's
He's
a,
good. He's
bro.
good.
He's
He's
a
really good.
receiver that has put up 4 straight 1,000-yard
He's probably
receiving
in more than a 2
seasons.
than a 1.
With who have his quarterbacks been? Sam Howell.
That's
What's
ideal.
DJ Moore quarterback's been?
That's fine.
With
DJ
Justice
Fields.
I
Fields,
always thought DJ was great, even in Carolina though.
Sometimes it really don't matter. If you got it, you got it.
Yeah, but Terry McLaurin is not putting he's putting up a 1K
He put
with
up
trash
1,002,
quarterbacks.
bro. Let's calm down.
It's still 1K, bro. He's putting up 1,000 each
1,002
year
is
with
like
trash
900.
quarterbacks. Like
Are we
Taylor
moved by 1,002?
Heineke, Sam Howell, Alex
Drew,
Smith off
are
a
we moved by
broken leg.
1,002?
Listen, when I said, hey,
Listen,
Mike
I'll
Williams
be honest,
is really
bro, Terry
good.
gets 1 year. If Terry
Okay.
was to do a first year with Ben Johnson and Drake May, it's cooked. Bro's about to be 29.
You said similar to Amon Ra. There's never been a comment more
I'll
disrespectful.
be honest, DJ
Did I
Moore.
not tell you that Debo was gonna be an All-Pro?
You did.
Didn't I tell y'all?
Then you said
How about you respect my
What does
game?
that have to do with anything?
Respect my game.
And then you said that Terry and DK were both better than Debo
Can I ask you
the
a question?
year after.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
So DJ Moore had 96 receptions. Terry had 79 receptions. So my math, that's about 17 receptions. DJ Moore had over 362 yards.
Sex god.
Do you think if he had one more game, Terry could get that?
I wasn't listening to you. Can you answer that? Can you ask that again?
Won't even cap. I can't repeat that.
Yeah.
What did he say?
I
Can
don't
you-
know.
Please.
I'll be something about 17 receptions, 90 yards.
Basically, what I'm saying is DJ Moore had 1,300 yards and 8 TDs with Justin Fields.
Yeah.
Right. You don't think, you think Terry's going to do a better year with Ben Johnson, but what if he still has a lower year and Jahan Dotson has a better year? What are you going to say then?
No, I think Terry McLaurin's the best receiver there. And I think he's been underutilized for a long time. This is from November 30th, 2023. So this is probably not up to date exactly, but this is targets with the step or more of separation, but an uncatchable pass. Chris Olave, 16.
Dog.
Jamar Chase, 13. McLaurin at 11.
Oh,
Garrett Wilson at 10.
Is that the stat you want to use to help you? Jamar
What?
Chase.
But uncatchable pass. I mean, Burrow
Oh,
was
wow.
hurt. I mean, I think Burrow was hurt
Oh.
up until that time.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I don't know. Still,
Making
I
sure.
mean, didn't you just say you're gonna start respecting Burrow?
I'm just saying, is that a stat you want to use? That's
Everybody
all I
that's
was
a
asking.
Burrows fan. Don't let this motherfucker.
Whoa,
Okay.
whoa.
He disrespects him too much.
I'm going to be honest with y'all. 2 hours and 48 minutes in. we can save this 10 best players thing
Next week.
We just talked about Terry for about 15, 10 minutes.
We high key could because we got a lot of Super Bowl
we got some
preview
good
to do.
stuff in. You know what I'm saying?
We have NFL shit, so we're gonna have to fill up.
We
you
can
know
milk up. You know, so we can save.
Yeah, 248. I think we did. We gave him a lot.
It's a 10:30. I got work in the morning. Dehls got to get up. You know what I'm saying?
He's right.
No, for sure. We could say that for next
We
week.
had a nice little Terry conversation about mid. You know, I think we could, definitely walk off.
So, can I just make a bet with all of you guys right now?
Let's do it.
Well, now it depends. If you're gonna tell me he gets fucking 1,000 yards, I'm not saying yes.
I'm not moved by that at all.
1,200.
I think you get 1,200.
12 is too nice.
I think he can get 12 too.
Let's go. We already have a better already. Smitty versus Terry.
Okay, I'll make
we
another
already
one.
have
I'll go with another one
We
too.
want pick up.
I feel very
Garrett versus Terry?
Relax, Dehls.
Nice.
I love Garrett.
Pick one of my guys. Who you want to go against? Not Jettas, of course.
How about
There's
Amon
no
Ra
shot.
versus Terry? Because you're saying similar.
And
Let's
he's
make
gonna,
that
He's
bet.
gonna be losing Ben Johnson.
Right? I just lost the OC you might be getting.
If we get Caleb, I'll do DJ Moore versus Amon Ra.
I'm having a conversation with him.
You don't want to come over here to the winning
Let's
side?
just not do that. What do you mean? Us two? You're saying us have a bet?
Amon Ra versus DJ Moore.
I'm fine with that. Amon Ra's better.
Okay.
All right, let's do that. Fine.
You're losing Ben Johnson. We're getting Caleb.
That's fine. Do you want to do
Caleb
it?
generation.
Terry
right?
McLaurin is a phenomenal receiver.
Phenomenal.
He's
Is he a
great.
number one?
All right, let's do the
He's
bet.
a number one.
Let's do the bet.
Stamp.
Amon Ra
Just
versus
name
Terry
20
I'm
McLaurin.
just going to do you another bet. McLaurin, 1,300 yards. You're going more under.
No, Amon
More or
Ra
less.
versus
I'll take
Terry
under 13.
McLaurin.
I'm doing 1,300.
I'll
But you,
take
that's
under.
what I'm going.
I'll take
you
under
said,
13.
but
I'll
you
take
said
under.
this numbers are gonna be similar. Do the bet.
I'm saying they can be.
Joel, I'll take
All right, so
under.
do the
I'm not,
bet.
bro, it's a first year quarterback, a rookie. I'm not
But you
dumb.
said can be.
I'm
Yeah,
right
but
here.
Jared Goff has already built up chemistry with Amon Ra St. Brown.
I'll
He's
take 13.
peppering him with
I'll take
targets.
the 13. I'll take
Okay,
the under.
I'm telling you 1,300
13. That's really
1,300
what you're
yards.
doing. All right.
1,300 yards
All right,
Flat.
deal.
I'll take
on
under.
all of y'all.
Yep, I like that.
1,300
How
yards.
much?
Terry
1,300.
McLaurin.
How much?
20?
Okay.
Count 20.
Count 20. 1,300. So the bar, he has the 1,301 is going to get me so aggravated, bro, if he gets some shit
Why?
like that.
First, it's
If he
been
gets 1301, that's easy money. I'll send your way.
Yeah, I'm
first
just
of
gonna
all,
get so
first
mad that
is
he
he
beat me
barely
by
gets
1
1,000. Now if he gets
No.
1,300,
If he gets
it's barely
13 if he gets
1,300.
1301,
I'm saying if
that's
he
an
gets
OD
1301, I'm going to just be mad I lost the bet by 1 yard.
And one.
And remember what I told you about the Commanders? They're a sleepy. They're a sleeper
remember
team.
that.
It's all,
They
it's
were
all
up-
playing
they were
into
up
the
6
same-
with the
you know,
Of
ball.
playing the
course,
same
it's
way.
a Commanders agenda next year.
Yeah, I'm here for it.
Oh, no, it's 6 without the ball.
So you want to do Commanders versus Chicago?
Oh, that's
On
fine.
who has a better record?
Yeah.
Number 1 pick versus
I
You
gotta
wanna
see
wait?
what
You wanna
Commanders
wait? You want to
get.
wait? You wanna
I'll
wait? Okay, we can wait. I'm
That's-
ready.
That's a good bet.
I'm willing to lock it in right now.
They get Ben Johnson and Drake.
I'll be
May.
honest, that's a good
I don't
bet.
want-
Yeah.
How many
I'm
games did the
on.
Packers win this year?
9.
Chicago's at 7.
Chicago is up.
We can do pick whatever you want.
Listen, I've
Pick
been.
your poison.
You know, I've been here. I know you came along for the ride.
What?
I'm the Chicago guy.
You're a liar.
Why?
I'm the Chicago.
I was the one that was calling them out when they actually were playing well on defense. You fell off.
It fell off a little bit, but I'm the guy.
I'm just being a prick,
Yeah.
bro.
You
Don't
joined the
worry.
wave though. So
But you're a DJ Moore guy. You're more Fields, I feel like, in Chicago. But you've
I'm
grown
Chicago.
into DJ.
You're a
I was
DJ
DJ
Moore guy.
before Chicago.
I know. That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. That's what I'm giving to you.
That's valid. Yeah.
I can't be two teams. in
So
NFC North.
before we go, we just have
damn near
to
3.
update
Whoa.
you guys on
NFC
2
East,
things.
you already glazed 3 of the teams. You know.
I'm limited in the AFC, so I gotta go take my
You gotta
time to the
stop.
NFC.
Before we go, we got to update you guys on 2 things. Number 1, merch drop February 3rd, charcoal and cream colors. We only have 60. So remember to either join the Patreon or the Discord to get the early link
Yep.
or set an alarm for 1 p.m. Next drop, we'll definitely have more. And update number 2, Prize Picks NBA Demons and Goblins have arrived. If you've played Prize Picks, you know that they had Demons and Goblins for the NFL. The Demons, it's more
Unlikely.
more unlikely to happen,
Correct.
but it's a bigger payout.
Correct.
And with the Goblins, it's more likely to happen, but it's a lesser payout.
Correct.
So the Demons are a little wild. They're statistically harder, but the entry qualifies for higher payouts up to 100x. And they are now arriving for the NBA. So you can head over to Prize Picks and download the app right now if you want to play that. And Prize Picks is now live in Tennessee and West Virginia with a new game mode. It's called Prize Picks Pick'em Arena. We're excited to announce that game mode from Prize Picks. It's currently available in Alabama, Tennessee, Wyoming, and West Virginia. Here's how it works. The board will always show projections available in the next 20 hours. Select 2 or 3 or 4 projections. Pick more or less on each. Submit your entry for $5, $10, $20, $50, or $100. You will be placed in a group with other members based on your number of picks and entry amount. Here's how to win. Finish with the highest score in your group to earn a prize. Members who tie for the number 1 spot will split the payout and get all your picks right 4 for 4 is a 10x payout. 3 for 3 is a 5x. And 2 for 2 is a 3x. And Prize Picks has a Super Bowl free square. Drew, put it up on the screen. It's a 99% discount on Mahomes. Only half a passing yard. 1 yard equals 1 win. Make sure to download Prize Picks. Use code PAS for a deposit match up to $100 when you put in $100. Thank you guys for watching.
Before we go, never forget that Drew, before I think you were doing something. He told me and Dehls lock back in on the Lakers. They're back, and they proceed to get their ass whipped by Houston.
You know what's funny? Someone put a tweet up of guess the Lakers' next 5 games. I said we're gonna go 4-1 with a loss to the Rockets because I knew we were gonna be on the road, and the Rockets play well on the road.
Yeah,
at home. Excuse me.
They're home merchants.
They are mad good at home.
They're the Golden State Warriors last year. It's really sad.
Thank you guys for watching. You can follow us on Instagram and TikTok at Pickside Podcast, on Twitter at Pickside Pod, and we'll see you guys next time. Is it just me or was it really hot in here?